Hey, Action Shelf listeners, before we jump into the show itself, we want to tell you about how you can get even more action in your life.
Mm.
That appeals to you,
More
listeners.
action. More action, you
More
say,
action, you
John.
say. Yes. If you go over to our Podbean patron page, that's patron.podbean.com/punchup. You can listen to Lisman and I watch, what's this? Good action movies.
Good action movies, you say?
That's right, a change of pace. We thought behind the paywall, let's give people something of quality. So
And give us something of quality.
I know, it's such a pleasure to do that. So twice a month, you and I will be doing commentary tracks that you can download for
Yes.
good action movies, all kinds of awesome stuff from a lot of our heroes like John Woo. And we've done stuff from the John Wick franchise and Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all the guys we never get to talk about on here.
Yeah, stuff we legitimately love and love to share with you all.
Yeah.
So
you can listen to that as well as other cool exclusive content from the Punch Up Entertainment Network shows. Once again, the address for that is patron.podbean.com/punchup. And now, into the action.
The Action Show. The Action Show. The Action Show. The Action Show.
Welcome to the Action Shelf. The podcast celebrates the glory of B action movies. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Michael Listman.
Oh, Listman, you know, there's a spectrum within the Action Shelf, right? I mean, there is sort of a range of these movies. Not in quality. They're all pretty equally bad. But in terms of
For the most part, yeah.
impulse and stuff like that. And last week we saw a movie that had one of the worst impulses an Action Shelf movie can have, which is to be artsy.
Yes.
Here,
yes.
so
not understanding what you're making.
right.
You know?
Just understanding, like, it's that thing I hate where it's just like, got it, being vague is artsy. It's like, nope, that's not it at all.
No.
So we, of course, had to follow that up with a movie that has no interest in being anything resembling art at all.
Nope.
And that's Is this 89?
I believe it's 89.
1989's Laser Mission. Oh,
Laser Mission.
boy. Oh, boy. I was just recording another podcast with friend of the show, Mike Ergoni, and when I told him I was coming on to do Laser Mission, he burst out laughing at that title and said, this is a direct quote from him, that's the most Action Shelf title I could imagine.
Yeah, it's up there with Future Kick.
It is up there with Future Kick, and I
Uh,
will say, and this is a low bar, I enjoyed this much more than Future Kick.
Yes, there was things I enjoyed about this movie, which I cannot say the same about Future Kick.
Having said that, this is a terrible movie.
Oh,
absolutely
God. This movie is
awful
so
film.
poorly put together.
It is.
Some of the worst editing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, distractingly bad editing.
Lots
we will
of-
get to... The movie is fairly straightforward for the first half, but as soon as they get to the desert...
Yeah.
Everything goes out the window, and clearly something went wrong in the production
Okay, I'm
of this
glad
film.
you brought this up, because it's one of these... I was watching this last night, and I'm going...
Yes.
I consider myself a person of reasonable intelligence, and I was having trouble following this dumb fucking movie, but I'm going, wait, what? And I'm going, how is Laser Mission confounding me? Like, basic... The thing is, it's so simple, actually. But there is just stuff where you're going, like, oh my God, by the time we end up with the mining thing, I'm like, wait, where did this come from?
Yes, the progression of events there gets really out of sorts, and you can even tell there's like a sequence where let's get into it when we're going through.
Yeah, we'll get through the movie.
But yeah.
We'll talk.
We'll get into it because the editing is crazy and clearly there was a mistake made, and it feels like they had to insert footage to pad out the length of this movie.
Well, and by the way, when the credits started rolling at the end of this thing, there may be the slowest credits I've ever seen. We know that's a trick here.
Yep.
Because this thing clocks in with credits at 84 minutes.
Ooh, brisk.
But
so good.
The movie itself is probably 70 something, because when you take out the opening titles and the closing titles, there's like 75 minutes of movie here.
Yeah.
And that's
which makes sense, because there's not really any plot.
No, that's because that's no time to. There's not any plot. There's barely any character work. So let's talk about this movie, Laser Mission of 1989. I've been wanting to cover a Brandon Lee movie the whole time, and I gotta say, I think he's pretty likable. I wouldn't say he's good in this movie, but I like Brandon Lee.
Yes. Yeah, he has... he's got like a kernel of charisma there that I think, given like a long, illustrious career, I think he would have really become like one of the best action
unquestionably, because he was a guy
stars.
who was just getting better. Every movie he made, he was better in. And then, of course, he's fucking amazing in The Crow, his final movie. Sadly, very tragically, that he died making. He was all. No, I really think he could have ended up rivaling his father as an action icon.
I think so, yeah.
And if anything, actually, maybe they have a similar base level of charisma. Because I also think Bruce Lee never really got the time to develop into a great actor. But there was a raw charisma there. Similar here, where you just go like, oh, this guy, he's a little green. This is only like his second leading role in this movie. And so he's but you're going like, ooh, but there's the makings of a movie star here. He's a handsome guy.
Right.
He's got a unique look. He doesn't look like anybody else. He also doesn't really look like his dad. He kind of does, but it's not like
does.
But it's not a carbon copy
thing. He's
thing.
got the eyebrows.
He definitely
He's got
does.
the eyebrows of
but
his
he doesn't
father
have
and
that
the cheekbones.
that thing that sometimes costs children of famous people, where they look exactly like their parent, and it's like, oh, this is weird.
Right. He's distinct enough.
He's distinct enough. The big bummer here that is a common action shelf refrain. Very little martial arts from this guy, though.
I know.
What the fuck, man?
I was bummed out.
We got to do. I know one that I have seen of his that I love that we have to do is Showdown Little Tokyo, the buddy cop one he did with Dolph Lundgren. That movie is incredibly dumb, but so much fun, and it's wall-to-wall martial arts. So
excellent. I mean, that's really what I was hoping with this film.
Yeah.
And that was a bit of a letdown.
I
would say 75% of the action of this movie is him leaning out of a VW bus, shooting at people.
And it's
most of the
and it's
violence.
they're bad gunfights. Like, they're not. This movie. This movie's pretty incompetently made. Like, I will say, this is
on every level. Yes.
Yeah, this is a bad script that is poorly directed. Now, I don't. Did you look up this director at all, Lisman?
No, I have not. I have his page open, but
B.J. Davis. He is a stuntman primarily, which sometimes we like.
Okay.
Sometimes that leads to some good stuff. But I will say, this guy's maybe better off as a stunt guy. Because he
should not be in charge of anything.
He's a big time stunt guy. Worked on huge movies. Where's the stunt page? So this IMDb. Okay, yeah. I mean, but like, he's worked on the Spider-Man movies and stuff like that, and
Star Trek.
Lots of Star Trek. He was clearly like a main stunt guy on both Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, Army of Darkness, some of the Star Trek movies as well. Did some stunt work on this movie. He definitely a future episode, Delta Force, the Chuck Norris classic. Looks like he came out of Canon, and I will say, this is Canon-esque, but it is lacking that Canon polish that we love.
Yes, there is a certain level of polish. This movie looks really cheap.
That's the thing.
Canon, you'll have a little bit more budget going on for you.
Well,
this movie looks so cheap. Like, even for 1989, it looks really bad.
It does. Did you watch this on YouTube?
I watched it on... Oh, I forgot it was on YouTube. No, I watched it on Tubi.
Okay, well, that's fine, too. But because like I watched on YouTube and it was clearly a VHS transfer. I don't know what it looked like on Tubby.
It's probably better than the quality you watched it in,
but
still looked pretty bad.
But I was gonna say it gave it some charm to me that it was a VHS copy that I was watching, because I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the way this movie needs to be seen. And it was like it was a clear VHS copy. Like it wasn't that that fucking Dirk Benedict movie where you couldn't see it. You could see it. It just was clearly
Shadow Force.
Yeah, it just was clearly like copied off of VHS. But I was going like, oh, that's kind of the way. It still looked like garbage. But I'm going, if it's going to look like garbage, in some ways better to watch it on the VHS.
Probably,
because this is a total VHS movie. But yeah, I think that's the thing I've come to appreciate doing this podcast is like, Cannon did make dumb B movies, but they did them well. Like there was some care to them. There was some quality control. They knew they were making dumb action movies, but they're like, yeah, we still are going to get people who can competently direct, pretty good actors, and we're going to throw some money at that. I do have the budget for this movie, Listman. If you want to take your best guess at what this thing cost in 1989.
1989?
Yeah.
I'm going to say $2.5 million.
God damn, that is so fucking close. 2.3. 2.3. You were, I mean, I'll give that to you, man, though. That is fucking close.
The lack of money is there on the screen. So
2.3, even in 89, is nothing. For especially for a movie with big action set pieces, which this is trying to do.
Yeah, there isn't any, but
no, because
it certainly pretends like
when this thing ended, if this had said executive producer Stephen J. Cannell, I would have been like, yeah, right on. I totally see. This feels like the pilot for like a Riptide or an Airwolf or something like. Doesn't it kind of feel like that, or B tier like A-Team kind of stuff like that?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of stunts with vans, so yeah, it was very.
That's what I mean. All the action in it feels like a network TV action sequence.
Yes,
where it is,
there's not really a lot of blood.
No, there's hardly. It's rated R.
I was surprised it was rated R. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where they got that R rating from, really, because I didn't know. There might have been some cursing, but I didn't clock it really. There's no sex. They make a point of cutting away during the sex, which I was actually kind of shocked by.
Oh, thank God.
Although we do get a wet T-shirt gag.
Oh, you know what? That was probably it, because you can pretty clearly see that woman's just nipples and everything.
The most baffling part of the movie is that runner with those two goofy henchmen.
Why did it keep cutting to them? I don't understand why anyone would care about them.
We have completely turned the dial from Crazy Six, which is trying so hard to be serious, to a movie that's trying and failing to be funny, which is also rough. But actually, I've come to I'd rather see that.
I would rather see that than Crazy Six. I'd rather see a lot of things than that.
Crazy Six, I'll just say, for the shelfies this year, that's going to be tough to beat for hardest to watch. That's the real front runner, because that thing is brutally boring.
Yeah,
that movie.
That movie made me angry, John. Yeah, I was furious.
People can listen to last week's episode. You were really steamed. This one, I texted you when I was watching this yesterday. I go, dude, this thing's like a warm blanket after Crazy Six. This is
comparatively, yeah.
This is the kind of garbage we expect to see on here. And a new category that I'm going to introduce because of this movie to the shelfies this year, actor slumming it the most, because I want to talk about Hollywood legend Ernest Borgnine. And what the fuck is Borgnine doing? One of the great old Hollywood actors doing nothing in this movie. Like, there's no reason this should be a legendary actor.
Yeah, no.
It's insane.
I think if you didn't know him, you wouldn't know that he is a legendary actor based on his performance.
Based on his performance or the way the movie treats him? Like, there's no sense of like, oh, he's got the part that's the big cameo part in this, you know?
Right, exactly.
What else was he doing at this time? Oh, a lot of this kind of shit. Late 80s Borgnine is not crushing it.
Not the height of his power.
No, because I think he's in a weird place where he'll get to elder statesman actor, later on, like in the 90s, where they'll start putting him in stuff like Gattaca and things like that, where he's like getting like prestige cameo roles. But he has a whole run of garbage here because he is coming off of the beginning of the decade. He's fucking great in Escape from New York, which is awesome. But then, it descends into most of the 80s is, well, and of course, the aforementioned Airwolf, which he did on TV. That was big for him. He was on Airwolf, which I love, because I love any 80s show that's inherently about a vehicle. I love the idea of it's just like Knight Rider. Airwolf was just somebody going, what if we did Knight Rider, but it's a helicopter? Great.
Sounds more expensive. Let's do it.
And then somebody's like, what if we did... And then there was Street Hawk. What if we did Knight Rider, but it's a motorcycle? And then eventually in the 90s, you get Viper, where it's like, what if it's Knight Rider, and it's just a different car?
Completely. The well has dried up.
Where it's just like, we'll just get a different... Instead of like a Trans Am, it'll be like a Lamborghini, and so it's a different thing.
Well, now we're just like, what if Knight Rider, but new?
Now we're... Did you see, by the way, this is a little bit of a tangent, they're doing a new Starsky and Hutch? And take one guess what their twist on this is.
It's dark and gritty.
Oh, no, they're women.
Oh, okay.
And that's the thing where I'm not a fan. Obviously, I'm not one of these people who's like woke nonsense, but it's just one of those things where it's like, why don't you just make a new show? What, like,
just make a show.
I'm on board for cool women driving around in a car fighting crime.
Yeah.
Why do they have to be named Starsky and Hutch? Like, that's the thing where I just go like,
I don't know.
That's pointless. Yeah, it's so. And they're fucking
it's
bringing
like
back
if they
Matlock.
named Poker Face Columbo too.
That's it exactly, and that's the thing. Do you see they're bringing back fucking Matlock, and Matlock's going to be a woman now too.
Why?
I don't know. Yeah, let's stay
it's
back.
It's less that it's women now and more that we don't need to bring back these old shows.
Well, and that's the thing too. It's not even that it's women. It's the other that they think that making it women is like a new wrinkle. That's a new take, and you're like, no, that's just dumb. That's just it's still lazy.
They're not even trying at this point. Yeah, it's lazy.
Yeah.
More than anything else. It's the least amount of work to make something slightly different and maybe interesting to modern audiences.
I've got a future episode for us here, though, looking at another 1989 Borgnine movie, Jake Spanner, Private Eye, with also legendary Robert Mitchum at the end of his career.
Oh.
Ooh, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh, shit. Yeah, we definitely got to watch that.
Yeah, but this is very old Robert Mitchum still kicking ass. Robert Mitchum is one of my absolute favorite actors of the classic Hollywood era. I don't know this one, though, and that's probably concerning. Anyway, Borgnine, totally wasted, does nothing in this movie at all. I mean, at all.
Yes.
It's wild to me that they would even... It's just so they can put Ernest Borgnine on the poster, right?
Yep.
Oh, I do want to... We don't always talk about the poster, but I do want to talk about this poster. Because, does this poster... Is this reminiscent of any other iconic film franchises, maybe?
I don't think so.
I'm not getting any sense. This is a totally original...
No.
painted poster of a guy in a suit next to a sexy lady.
Yeah, and Ernest Borgnine's face in a diamond. That's
Ernest Borgnine's face in the diamond is great. I'm here too.
Honestly, this movie would be more interesting if he was trapped in the diamond, like there's a supernatural element.
Well, I will say this: the movie really is kind of false advertising because there is not a single laser fired in this thing.
Nope.
Huge bummer. Huge bummer.
Yeah. For those of you who didn't Google what the poster for this movie looks like, it looks like a James Bond poster. Let's just be.
Also, kind of more false advertising that they put this flying kick in there, making me think I'm going to see a lot of Brandon Lee doing kung fu. I don't know. The thing I would imagine most people would want to see him do in film.
Yeah,
No.
definitely.
No.
No, not here.
Not here. He has a couple. There were a couple times where I thought, okay, here we go. All right, fight's over already.
No, okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right. Well,
Yeah, there were just.
they really don't know how to emphasize like what would be exciting. Like you get somebody like Brandon Lee. I feel like it would be easier to do fight choreography than all of the car chases that they failed at.
Yeah,
You know
you've
what I
got a
mean?
guy
Like,
who, number one, already has the baseline underlying skills. You've also got a director who is a stuntman himself, who you would think usually one of the appeals of that, when you look at something like John Wick or Extraction or whatever, is those movies have the coolest fight scenes. David Leitch, who I'm a huge fan of, who just did Bullet Train and he did Deadpool 2 and things like that. He did Atomic Blonde, which we fucking love, and has amazing fight scenes in it.
one of my favorites.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, that's the kind of thing where I'm going, oh, that's what you get when you hire a stunt guy to make a movie, is you get a guy who knows how to shoot these fights. And yet, I think all of the action, not just the lack of fighting, is incompetent in this movie. It's so poorly
incompetently
shot.
put together. Yes,
How much of this movie is just big wides of stuff where I'm going, you're not emphasizing any of the physical action.
No, or like somebody will do an attack or throw something, and it will be off camera.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was leaning out of the camera that we're
much
talking
like
on,
much like the movie.
Yeah. So it's like I had to guess every time he was throwing a grenade out of the van because he leans out of frame to do it, and I'm like, okay, that's weird that you shot it that way, and stuck with that footage, but yeah, all right.
Now, would you be surprised, Listman, if I told you the two guys who wrote this movie never wrote anything before or after it?
That should be a bingo card. That should be a bingo card for us.
I'm going to start calling these guys the Action Shelf One-Timers Club.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This is...
So
we get this
David
a lot.
A. Frank and Philip Gutteridge.
They never worked before or after.
Yes.
This is it, man. So, one and done, and it's Laser Mission. Because I will say, weirdly, B.J. Davis, this is not his first film as director, and it is not his last film as director, and it should be both.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, the fact that this guy this guy is coming off of having directed, before this, he directed White Ghost and Quiet Thunder.
Okay.
Which are both...
I just don't know who looks at this movie and thinks, yeah, I could give this guy some money, you know? Not a lot of money, but I could give this guy some money.
He made 19... I think of the other ones he's directed, I think I want to do 1994's Stick Fighter.
Stick Fighter?
Stick Fighter, yeah, Stick Fighter. He fights people with sticks. And he also did something that I'm now obsessed with. That's a TV special called Charlie Sheen's Stunts Spectacular. Because when I think big stunts, I think Charlie Sheen? What? Apparently it's just a TV documentary about how stunts are made that Charlie Sheen hosts.
Okay.
But it is just like, there's just something funny about it being Charlie Sheen's. An amazing look at the world of Hollywood's colossal stunts and the people that make them possible. Hosted by Charlie Sheen. Okay.
Man, we got a lot of stuff here. Holy shit. Yeah, this guy...
He directed some Meatloaf videos. His directing career is all over the place, man. He did direct 2 episodes of Renegade, which is a Stephen J. Cannell show that is a total Action Shelf TV series. About a cool guy who rides a motorcycle and fights crime.
Yeah.
With Lorenzo Lamas. We have oh my god, Stephen J. Cannell was a recurring character on it. I didn't know he acted. He probably shouldn't.
Yeah, probably not.
Yikes.
Boy, it's just boy.
Yeah,
looking at this guy's career, it's a lot of meh.
He's in something called oh my god, this is the last one. He's in something called Punks, but it's an acronym, PUNKS, Punks, starring...
What's it stand for, John?
Oh, what does it stand for? That's what I'm trying to find out here. But I'll just say it stars Randy Quaid and Henry Winkler.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what that's a pairing I don't think cinema was ready for. This is clearly like a kids action movie.
A group of misfit teens evade a corrupt scientist when they steal and attempt to return a suit that delivers supernatural strength to its wearers.
Dude, this
Ooh, boy.
I think we have threatened to do like a month of kids action movies on here, and this is totally.
Oh, Jessica Alba's in this.
This is real early Jessica Alba, similar to we saw tiny little Mila Kunis in that Santa movie. I think this is a similar thing where it's like future star. Yeah, look at her. She's like 10 or whatever in this movie. Jesus. Oh my God.
Okay, yeah.
That's a real low point for Mr. Winkler, who's an actor I love. But good Lord.
Good Lord. We both love him here, but yeah.
He's the best. All right. Let's get into what this movie is. What is this movie, John? Were you as obsessed with this song as I was, that they just keep cueing?
You mean the song that played literally 4 or 5 times throughout the movie?
The song called Mercenary Man?
Mercenary Man. Dream Within a Dream. Wheel Within a Wheel, John.
In the violence of the night. That's the part, because in the violence of the night is the first, and because they keep every time they cue it, they start from that, so that really got burned into my head last night. I was just walking around after the movie and it would in my head just go in the violence of the night. I'm like, no, stop, Mercenary Man,
stop it.
I want to see if I can find this song so we can play it on because I mean, like we said, normally I wouldn't, but it is played so much in this movie. And
also, it's not credited to anybody. Nobody has claimed ownership of this song.
I know, that's the thing I love most. That's credited to a performer, but no one wants to take credit for writing or composing. Here we go. Let's see if
research shows this.
All right, hang on, that's an ad. But let me. Here we go. I think you should be able to hear this, Lisman. Oh my God, another ad. Thanks, YouTube. Jesus. Sorry, we love the folks at YouTube. What are we talking about? Can you hear it? Ooh, there's lasers in the song. I think they want this to be like a Bond, like it has a theme song like a Bond movie. Yeah. But oh God, it's the most.
Also have
It's so 1989, man. By the way, I just want to see if this gets us copyright struck on YouTube, because that would mean someone would have to. There it is. It's one of those things that it sounds like a lot of other 80s pop songs.
Yeah. If you're not paying attention, you're like, oh, I've probably heard this song.
Yeah. I just want to see if we can get to the. There it is. I'm kind of bummed it isn't a title track, though, and the song is called Laser Mission. Here's a laser. It actually makes me think, though, was this movie called Mercenary Man? At one point, they wrote the song and then changed the title. Because I've seen movies like that.
It'd be a better name for a movie. Well, that's not true. It'd be a better name for this movie.
Yeah.
And there's not actually.
I have no indication of this, but was this meant to kick off the adventures of Michael Gold as a franchise?
I think so.
Yeah, it has that vibe to it. Well, like I said, that's the thing about it. It does feel, if I saw this as the pilot for like a syndicated action show, I'd be like, okay, because it has that feeling. Like this is the 2-part pilot for the Michael Gold show.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
And who is Michael Gold, Listman?
I don't know. Oh, who's playing him?
Well, no, it's Brandon Lee, obviously.
Okay.
But I'm talking about like the
But who is he?
Yeah, well, so the character is a guy who works for the government but isn't an agent. He's an independent contractor who like works for, I don't think they ever actually say, but it's basically like the CIA, right? I don't think they actually call it the CIA, though.
They don't give a name to the agency at all. What's interesting about this dynamic is that they are both paying him money to do their dirty work.
He's
while
a mercenary.
Also looking down on him for taking money for doing dirty work. They're the ones paying.
Yeah. And then
like what's worse? You know, what in this equation, who's worse? I don't know.
They're literally
both equally bad.
Handing this guy a check and then going, "You trash Gold." And also, he seems to be pretty heroic throughout the movie. Why is he trash to that? Like, I don't. That's the thing.
It's just because he is a mercenary.
Yeah, But it's
right?
but once
it's
again,
just the concept of mercenary.
but as we're talking about, they have chosen to hire a mercenary.
Yes.
That's so weird.
And he doesn't really have an arc because he doesn't start out not only giving a shit about the money, and then but he always seems pretty noble all the way through.
Yeah,
for the most
he's
part.
he's a pretty one-note character, and that's where I'm saying I don't know that I can really say like Brandon Lee is bad in this because like it's not like anybody else would have. Because in fact, actually, quite the opposite. I would say because Brandon Lee has charisma, this movie could have. If this was fucking Dudikoff or Gary Daniels or Wincott or something, this would be way less watchable. Brandon Lee at least has a base level, as we said, charisma that makes this total nothing character reasonably watchable.
Yes, and he is incredibly attractive. That is also an.
He's just guy is
just one of the most attractive men.
Like his dad was a good-looking guy, but man, he's even. I mean, that you talk about the movie star, you just like that face, man, belongs on a movie poster. He is looking good.
Absolutely.
And he's
Maggie
tall.
and I were both enjoying just watching him on screen.
Yeah,
he's
man,
just very attractive.
I am always bummed that this guy died when he did, not only because it was a horrible tragedy, but there could have been decades of Brandon Lee movies.
Yeah,
he'd be one of our favorites probably. Because
definitely,
you've seen The Crow, right, Listman?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
The Crow, like that. That's the saddest thing of all is he died making the movie that would have launched him to superstardom. That was the perfect role for him in a great movie. Yeah. He had a great director, Alex Proyas, who directed that. And it was like, man, this thing is tailor-made for this guy. But here, it's him elevating the material as best he can. He's not getting any help from the female lead, who is awful.
Truly atrocious,
Yeah, she's really bad.
Just
the writing is bad.
Voice.
Yeah, the writing is bad, but she is also living up to how bad that writing. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't believe her being capable in any way, shape, or form.
No.
The performance she's giving does not give that indication.
I will say, I was watching the movie for a good half hour going, why do I know this woman? Where have I seen her? And I should just know that the answer is one of two places, and she's in both of those places, and that is Seinfeld and Star Trek.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's in an episode of Seinfeld. She plays. Here's the thing: most like attractive women when they're on Seinfeld are like they were a Jerry love interest. She was a Kramer love interest, and she actually gets murdered in Seinfeld, which is very rare.
What?
Yeah, it's during the two-parter where Kramer moves to LA to become an actor, and then gets accused of being the Smog Strangler. Kramer is falsely accused of being a serial killer, and this is a woman Kramer dates, and then she gets murdered, and they think Kramer killed her. Yeah, which is crazy. And then she has small parts in both a Deep Space Nine and a Voyager.
She's been on a lot of things.
No, she's worked a lot like not a ton, but a lot considering how terrible she is. I mean, she's bad. I really, really bad.
She's
in this.
Really bad. Truly atrocious.
And like,
I didn't think she was going to be the female protagonist when she was introduced.
No,
because she was so obnoxious.
This woman.
Well, that's clearly this is a one-off scene with this woman.
This woman cannot carry a scene. My God.
No.
Oh my God. I really. Yeah. So that really hurts. They have
the supposed chemistry.
None.
Yeah. Oh,
the chemistry is non-existent in this movie.
Yeah.
It's really painful to watch. Like it's rough to sit through. And it's not like there's a lot of other good performances in either. Thank God Brandon Lee is here.
It's basically just Brandon Lee. Like there's some truly next level amateur acting in this.
It's
movie.
Pretty bad. Yeah, it is like man
stuff that it's like on the level of Richard Iowati.
Yeah. There is, especially once you start getting into like the bad guys and stuff.
Yes, holy shit, John. Yeah. The bad guys all have very, very thick accents. That are impossible to understand. This is again one of those movies where if you don't have the subtitles on,
you can't follow it.
You won't know. anything that's happening. And of course, the subtitles that are written for this movie are auto-generated.
Yeah, so they're also
so they're usually wrong.
Yeah, they actually they make it only slightly easier to follow because, like I said, I was still baffled as to what was going on.
Yes,
and I think you can only do so much when there's lots of stuff missing or.
Yes.
It feels like this is a movie that to save money they just kept going. You know what? We don't need these pages, and they're tearing them out of a script, going, "Oh, we don't have to shoot this, do we?"
Yeah, exactly. Is there? Okay, wait. Is there? Have we given the basic premise of the movie?
I don't actually think we have. I mean, so
okay.
By the way, all you need to know. I did write this down. Did you love when the title of the movie formed in lasers at the beginning? It went
so good.
Laser mission. In the violence of the night. So yeah, they what happens is and this you got to help me here. We got to figure this out because this plot together. So
okay.
The movie starts at this fancy party where bad guys steal a big diamond.
The Verbig diamond, I believe is what it's called.
Oh, the Verbig diamond.
Which is very subtle.
Yeah. I didn't.
It's definitely not very big diamond. It's just.
They went. So in the original draft, they said they called it the very big diamond. Somebody goes, "That's stupid." They go, "What if we just took the Y out of very?" Perfect.
We took the Y out of very and squished them together. Verbig diamond.
Oh, no one will know what we're doing then.
Right.
That's clever writing.
Yeah. That's the level of writing you can expect from the rest of this film.
Dude, that's
just off the bat. I was like, okay, I understand this movie now. Great.
That piece of writing makes unobtainium seem smart.
I was just about to bring up unobtainium. What is worse, Verbig diamond or unobtainium? I don't know.
I'm gonna say
I don't know what's stupider.
Well, they're both equally stupid, but James Cameron wins some points for adding 3 letters instead of just subtracting 1.
Yeah, that's true.
That's it.
That is true.
It was slightly more work.
Okay.
And unobtainium
is
I don't know though.
So on the scoreboard between Avatar and Laserman.
Yeah.
That's one thing that Avatar has slightly.
But I'll say this, and this is where Laser Mission Avatar is a gigantic, like $250 million movie, so it should know better. So you know what? It just shifted back to me.
Fair enough. Yeah. The writers never made anything else.
That's what I mean.
Before or after,
so many people have to approve an Avatar that somebody should have caught that. Here, I totally believe that they let that slide.
I'm pretty sure there was plenty of people who thought that naming something unobtainium was stupid.
But are you going to tell James Cameron?
Who's going to say no to James Cameron? Right,
That's
exactly.
the problem. Because he loves to go, people said it wasn't going to work. Anyway, this diamond is stolen by, also, gotta love the reach for, what's the bad guy's name in this? General Kalashnikov. Just literally named after a gun. I mean, I understand. It's a guy's name. A guy made the Kalashnikov, and that's why it's called that. But come on. He's a Russian bad guy named after the most famous Russian gun. Come on.
Yeah.
And I will say, I could not tell him and the other bad guy apart. They're the same guy.
I didn't realize there was 2. I didn't realize there's 2 separate ones.
Because there's the general guy and then there's the tracker guy. But they're both Russians in uniforms.
There's the general. Who's the tracker then? Wait, hold on.
That's Eckhart. There's Kalashnikov and there's Eckhart.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
but they're the same guy as far as I'm concerned.
They look very, very similar.
And they're both dressed in Soviet uniforms. And they're both doing terrible accents.
Yes, and they're both in most of the same scenes together.
Because I thought when Brandon Lee kills Eckhart, I thought, oh shit, he killed the general guy. And then when Kalashnikov came out again, I'm like, wait, that was a different guy, wasn't it? Oh my god.
It could have been. It might not have been. That's the thing, because
oh my god,
Kalashnikov
is
dies 4 or 5 times in this movie. You know the thing at the end of Die Hard where the blonde terrorist comes out and you think he's dead, but this movie does that, but like 4 times.
Almost
4 separate times.
Almost to the point where I'm going, is this a joke? There were several.
Exactly.
Did you have this thought during this movie where I'm going, is this movie a parody? There were a couple times when I'm going, is this I don't think it is a spoof, but there are a couple moments where this movie's so dumb that I'm going, you guys have to know this is silly, right?
You'd think.
It definitely wants to have a sense of humor. By the way, the guy who plays Kalashnikov is also in Space Mutiny. Do you know Space Mutiny, listener?
No.
Space Mutiny is a legendary episode of MST3K that is also a movie we should definitely cover on here. It is a movie. It is a movie famous for having golf cart chases. They basically drive around the space station in golf carts as if it's an exciting action sequence. And all of its space footage is reused B footage from Battlestar Galactica.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now, I have seen golf cart chases in the movie Hobgoblins.
Very similar. Very similar vibe.
Yeah.
Except this one's in space. And it's a space mutiny.
Okay, perfect.
Space Mutiny
we gotta watch that.
It's a very stupid movie that would totally fit.
We have
and
to.
by the way, there is a riff tracks of this movie, Laser Mission. They did cover it on riff tracks, which I want to see. That's a perfect. This is a perfect movie for an MST3K or a riff tracks. Now, did you happen to see in your trivia, Listman, that Brandon Lee was not the original choice of leading man for this?
I did see that. Yeah.
And did you see the man who 100% makes complete sense that this actually, I'm shocked he isn't the star of this, because this seems like his kind of vehicle, and that's one David Hasselhoff.
Yes. Now, do you think this movie would have been better or worse with the Hoff?
Ooh. Objectively worse, but I think he would have fit the tone better. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been, we would be more...
Okay, yes, yes.
Watching this, you're like, oh, no, Brandon Lee deserves better. If it was the Hoff, we'd be going, yep, this makes sense.
Yep, this is where he should be.
And he would still be better than everybody else in the movie, because the Hoff is not like a terrible actor, but he's a cheesy actor.
Yes, exactly.
But
and this movie bathes in the river of ham, as it were.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. This thing is just ham on celluloid.
Exactly.
It's really. I'm just trying to see what was Hasselhoff doing that he could have said no to this, because like he's doing a bunch of bullshit. Knight Rider had ended in '86, so he's 3 years out from Knight Rider.
Okay.
Of course, he's 2 years out from making the Knight Rider TV movie, though.
Okay.
Oh, he's trying to get the pop career going at this point. Oh wait, he's just starting Baywatch.
Okay.
So yes,
this makes sense.
Yes. Okay. Now I follow. He's making Baywatch because that started. Yeah, that starts '89. So he's just gone from one iconic show to starting up another one.
Yes. Yeah. Because that's a pretty good move on his part. You know?
Agreed. Yeah, that actually. I mean, so because I'm going like, what clout did he have to say no to something like this? Okay, Baywatch makes sense. That was as stupid as that show was. That show was hugely popular.
Yes.
Now you know he made a Nick Fury movie, right? The Marvel character.
Nope.
Okay.
Didn't know that.
Well, we'll be watching it when we do our Marvel month.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, it's a huge...
So we're going to be watching the Nick Fury movie. We're going to be watching Albert Pyung's
Captain America. We're going to be watching the Dolph Lundgren Punisher. And we're going to be watching the Sci-Fi Channel made Man-Thing movie. So get ready for that month, folks. All winners.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And we'll have a cadre of comic book guests that month. So, because I want to subject very talented comic book creators to those movies.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Going to be
it's what they get for being successful.
Yeah.
And talented.
Oh, you write good comics? Yeah. You get to watch the shittiest comic book movies.
Be inspired by this.
Yeah. They steal this diamond because with this diamond they can make a laser weapon. But here's where the movie loses me. Okay, I go with that. And
this is where the movie loses you. This is where okay.
The laser diamond thing is total like sci-fi gobbledygook nonsense. But here's the thing that so they need the diamond, but they also need the professor, which is Ernest Borgnine, who knows how to turn this into a laser. But then late in the movie, they're talking about there's also a nuclear component to it.
Oh, I missed that. I completely missed that.
Because he talks about other people have figured out how to make lasers, but he's the only one who's figured out how to combine laser technology with nuclear technology.
Do you think they're just throwing a bunch of words together that sounds scary, scientific?
Totally, because I'm going like, what do you... If you have a fucking death ray, what do you also need nuclear weapons for? Like,
well, you know, both technologies were derived from relativity, you know, science.
That was
so
the Einstein. Einstein goes, nuclear weapons, lasers.
Nuclear weapons, space laser weapons, and then
you got to watch out for those space lasers. You can ask Marjorie Taylor Greene about that. Gotta watch out
John,
for
we could have an entire month dedicated to space lasers.
Oh, we could. Space lasers
are so prevalent.
They are so prevalent, and at this point, Bond has already done at least 2 space laser movies. 3 at this point?
Has there been 3?
Well, there have been 3 by now. Well, because
at this point, yeah, okay,
at this point, yes. No, yeah, because Man with the Golden Gun definitely has space lasers. Moonraker certainly has space lasers, and then you're also talking about Die Another Day will also do a space laser.
Die Another Day will do a space laser, and I guess GoldenEye is not actually a space laser.
It's satellite nonsense, though. It's pretty close. It's in the sphere.
Yeah, it's close. Yeah.
Well, and of course, Bond fans, I know, Die Another Day, it's not technically a space laser. It is refracting the sun to blast down at the Earth. But it's turning it into a laser beam. I'm sorry, it's a space laser.
Wasn't there a space laser in Never Say Never Again? Am I misremembering that?
Oh, I think you might be right about that. But Never Say Never Again, we just try not to talk about.
It's technically not a Bond movie.
I know, yeah, thank God. And that movie's awful.
It's terrible.
We could actually probably do that on here. We could make a case for that as an action shelf movie, really. Not that I want to watch it again, but because we could do a whole month of just these Bond ripoffs. There's a billion of these.
We could.
Things.
Honestly, I'd be fine with that.
It might be. We'll have to get Ibrahim on for that.
We could do Secret Agent Super Dragon.
Secret Agent Super Dragon. Have you ever seen Never Too Young to Die?
Nope.
Never Too Young to Die is John Stamos' James Bond type movie.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, John Stamos.
Yeah, I think this was pre Full House fame, you know.
Oh, okay.
So I think this was a time when he couldn't. But it is awful. And Gene Simmons is the bad guy in it. Gene Simmons of Kiss, who, folks, we're only a couple weeks out from another Gene Simmons movie on the action shelf.
Okay, I was just about to say we've never done a Gene Simmons.
Oh,
movie,
I believe we have 2 on the calendar upcoming. So we already have 2 upcoming Gene Simmons movies. So don't worry, folks.
Great.
Gene Simmons
is one of them called Kiss of Death. Is that a...
Sadly, no, but we will get Runaway and we will get Wanted Dead or Alive. So
okay, great.
We're gonna get to see.
That's a Bon Jovi song.
It's also a movie where Rutger Hauer fights Gene Simmons.
We could do a month dedicated to rock stars.
Rock stars trying to act. Because we had Bon Jovi on the show, of course. Remember
exactly? Yeah, for Vampires, Los Muertos.
Los Muertos. Los Muertos. So you got, of course, the most Mexican rock star they could find, John Bon Jovi.
Yeah, that's what I think of.
This laser's been stolen, and so the U.S. government's like, oh no, that's bad. But what would really be bad is if the bad guys also kidnapped Ernest Borgnine. So we have to call in secret agent Michael Gold, who's not a secret agent, he's a mercenary, and we're going to be shitty to him about that. It's the weirdest choice to make him a mercenary. Or
it is the weirdest choice,
because he doesn't function like a mercenary. Like you're talking about, where's the storyline about a guy who's like, where's the Han Solo thing, right? I'm just in it for the money.
Exactly.
Instead, just in every scene, he just reads as like a James Bond kind of government operative. Just make him a fucking CIA or NSA or DOD or whatever combination of letters you want to put together.
If this is a top secret mission, why would you hire a mercenary care of it. That's not going to keep it top secret.
Well,
right?
no, that's the thing that gets me about, like, there's nothing about this. The only reason you would hire, like, a mercenary is they're going, like, we don't want to be involved. We want to be able to disavow this as the government.
Right.
But what about this
Right,
mission would be something the U.S. would want to keep under wraps?
Yeah. We don't want to let them know that we want to take down this space laser.
But then, they put one of their agents on him.
Yes.
So then what's the point of any of it? They
Just have her do it.
They hire a mercenary to do a mission that they don't trust. So instead, they still pay him to do a mission, but also send one of their agents to shadow him. What are you doing?
Is that because he's the best of the best? Is that why?
I guess so. He's got to be.
Like, there could have been a sequence where they're like trying to like hire him, and he refused to join the CIA because he likes, he likes being his own boss. You know what I mean? Or something.
You know what's weird is
we'll hire you, but we don't trust.
There's not even a moment when he's just like, "Hey, I don't work for you, man." You don't even get that.
Right.
There is nothing about this character that is like, he's a mercenary, man. He writes his own. The other thing you could do with a mercenary, they would never do this in this because this is such a weirdly pro-American movie for a guy who's a mercenary. But the other thing is that you would do with a mercenary plot is the government would ask him to do something. He goes, "Hey, man, I don't work for your fucking flag. Like, what you're doing is wrong, America. I'm going to take it on myself." That's the other thing you do. But this movie has no interest in that. Anyway.
Nope.
He goes to, where is this? By the way, where is this movie shot? Oh, I know
this
where
is
it was
supposed
shot.
to be in Africa.
Okay, well, it was shot.
I don't know where. I don't know where.
They shot in Namibia.
Yes, and that is where the movie takes place.
Yeah. Can I say another movie that was shot in Namibia is Mad Max Fury Road, which I would say their desert photography is a little bit better.
Oh, you think?
A lot of stuff. Namibia is a very common place to shoot like desert action stuff. That is often where movies go to shoot big desert sequences. So this is one of those movies though that's like shot in Namibia and then interior shot on sound stages in Germany to save money. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of thing where it's like, even though this is an American production, none of this was shot in America. Even the stuff, like the idea about like, well, we'll go to Namibia for the exteriors, which is cool, although this movie's so incompetently shot, other than it just being vaguely well, we watched Firewalker, which also had desert sequences, and that's a canon movie, and that looked better. Those desert sequences were better.
Way better.
And that's a pretty stupid movie, but that movie's, I mean, this movie makes Firewalker look like a masterpiece.
Well, yeah, because as soon as they get to the desert, this movie falls apart. It becomes nonsense.
So
it's just a series of scenes.
I do. You gotta love his undercover disguise of just wearing glasses. Michael Gold puts on a pair of glasses, so he can sneak in.
The Clark Kent disguise.
Yeah, and this guy is asking like, "Well, what line of business are you in?" And he says some like, the guy at the immigration counter, right? And he says like, what does he say? Something?
Oh, you mean the only person who is black in this movie who has any dialogue? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, for a movie set in Africa, for some reason, there's only one black guy. It is also weird. Like, why is this Africa? It's all like Russians and stuff. Like, none of it has anything to do.
It's not only Russians. It's Russians. It's Cubans.
Yeah.
It's South Americans. There's probably Germans. Like, it's,
yeah. Well, there is
what
Germans.
They think this place is.
The guy who plays Eckhart, the tracker, is Werner Pochtoth.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, he's a German actor, or he's Austrian.
Do they think this is like a social or like a Soviet sort of hub of all of the communist states?
Well, that's the very 1989 thing where it's like all the communist bad guys have gotten together.
Yeah, they all get along and they hang out together.
That's the thing was like, man, like they weren't all friends just because they were all communist. In fact, that's kind of one of the problems is there was a lot of infighting within the communist countries, and they all hated America, but
why the Soviet Union collapsed.
Oh yeah, it didn't really work, you guys, believe it or not. And we're right. That's the other thing too, is we're right at the end of the Soviet Union, so this movie is coming in just under the wire for Soviet bad guys. I mean, like
the producers of the movie are like, fuck, we got to release this before the Soviet Union collapsed.
The Berlin Wall falls this year. Like that's the thing where you
Do you
go
think
like,
it's because of this movie?
Yeah, I think this movie ended.
Do you think this movie? Yeah.
Listman, we all know it was Rocky IV that ended the Cold War. It's that
Oh,
speech
right, of course,
Stallone gives at the end of Rocky IV about how we're not so different, everybody. When the Russian
Thanks,
crowd
Stallone.
stops cheering for Drago and starts cheering for Rocky.
Yeah.
But he has this line here where the guy asks him, like, what business are you in? And he says some bullshit about, like, asset management or whatever. And then we get our first... There's a lot of one-liners in this movie. We get his first... He goes, let's put it this way. I'll always have a job. Cool.
Oh, it's like human psychology or like...
Yeah, it's something about, like...
humanities studies or
Yeah,
something
he's
vague
basically...
like that.
Yeah, some sort of, like, psychological management of workers or... I mean, it's one of those things which actually is a thing in real espionage work where you give like a bland, boring title to your job. The people go like, "Who cares?"
Yes.
But then what you don't do as a secret agent is go, "'Cause I'm really a secret badass." Because
generally
James
you don't.
Bond's covers, he works for Universal Exports, which sounds super boring, right? That's his thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
So this is. He goes and you gotta love already this movie, the epic scope of this movie. He's gonna meet with Ernest Borgnine just on a bench, by some water. Thrilling.
Yeah. Oh wow, the locations. Because if this was a Bond movie, there'd be like a sweeping vista.
Yeah,
of this like coastal town.
You get none of those kind of establishing travelogue moments of James Bond movies. Because one of the big appeals of these globe-trotting spy adventures is the locales, right? And there's no sense of location in this movie, even though it actually is shot in an exotic location.
That's what's crazy. You'd think it was filmed in like Southern California.
That's why I had to look that up and go,
no.
they didn't. I'm going, wait, they really did go to Namibia? How would you fucking shoot that? Like we're talking about, you look at something like Fury Road or any number of these other movies. The Flight of the Phoenix was shot there, and those are big widescreen, desert vistas and stuff. And here, this movie's just going, oh fuck, whatever. Here's Brandon Lee on a bench by some water. It's not even like a big ocean. It's like it looks like this looks like we went down to like one of the bridges here in Portland and just shot something on it. It would look the same.
Yes,
Oh,
because they
man.
don't really show the ocean at all.
No. It's just one of those things where it's like that's not even a budget thing. All they had to do was turn the camera around. Nah. Too much work. So anyway, Ernest Borgnine is ranting on about science, and then Brandon Lee hits us with another one-liner. It's because he goes, well, didn't you study this in school? And Brandon Lee says, me? I specialized in recess and girls.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
But yeah. that is this movie.
Yeah.
That is like, hey, divorced dads at home. You like this guy.
Yeah, this is my kind of guy right here.
All right. Yeah.
I like this Michael Gold character.
Yeah, he does look vaguely ethnic, but other than that, I really like this guy.
I think that is the thing, though. It's like Brandon Lee's like, well, he's only half Asian, so I'm cool with him because he still looks pretty Caucasian to me. Not like his dad. I could never, I never could relate to his dad. I do feel like, Brandon Lee, who is awesome, but is also like, more palatable to my tastes. For reasons I can't fully explain. Never.
I'm not saying I'm racist or anything.
Because I'm dead. These are also guys who go, racist? I'm the least racist person alive. There is nothing funnier to me than when total asshole conservatives go, I'm the least racist person in the world. Like, okay, all right.
Mm-hmm. Yes. If there was a competition for who was the least racist,
Which I always love the
world,
idea of,
I would win.
Of being able to quantify that. This guy's more racist than that guy.
Yeah.
So, of course...
Well, there's a grading scale, obviously.
Can we talk about the fact that Michael Gold is a horrible secret agent? Because they are instantly captured by bad guys. And this is one of, 3 or 4 scenes in the movie where he is instantly captured. Not as, part of a plan, but just because of incompetence.
Yep. Yes.
Because they're captured... and
they don't even,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, no, no.
Oh,
No, you
what I'm
don't.
going to say
No,
is
you don't.
they're
No,
going
you
to
don't.
capture him, put him in jail, and then execute him by guillotine.
Yeah, that seemed a little archaic. I don't know.
Yeah, I understand you guys are a bunch of random Soviets out in the desert, but guillotine? Who brought the guillotine?
Nobody. It should have been a firing squad.
Firing
Like,
squad or
what?
hanging feels like where it would be in this compound, right? Like,
Yeah,
I don't understand where they're like, no, 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 we're going to guillotine this guy.
I mean, the only reason the guillotine is here is so that Brandon Lee can use it to take out one of the henchmen.
Oh yeah, because he also instantly escapes, of course.
He does instantly escape.
But
yes.
what does he
Yeah,
not
that is
do
true.
is save Ernest Borgnine. He escapes and he shoots a bunch of guys. I did like him with the automatic shotgun. That's cool.
That was pretty cool. It's a cool looking gun, you know. It's not. I mean, no weapon in this movie properly, but like,
Yeah.
you know.
He's
He's
a good physical action actor, and he is
Yes.
trying to do cool poses with it and stuff. He's
Yes.
trying, man. Brandon Lee is so ready to lead an action movie, and this movie is just letting him down.
Exactly.
He does do a cool thing where one of the only cool things that actually did feel kind of Bondian is the gun is out of ammo, but he puts it to a guy's head and then throws that gun at the guy and grabs his gun. That I thought was pretty
Yes.
cool.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, all right.
That's it when it comes to the choreography. Don't expect anything else good after that.
And then he just goes back to the U.S. and they're like, "The fuck, man! The one thing we sent you to do is get Ernest Borgnine," and he's like, "I'm sorry. Why are you not happy that I'm still alive?" And then he's like, "That's it. But I'm gonna go back out there." And they say, "Okay, well you got to track him down." And we're gonna send you the lead. We're gonna give you a lead here by sending you to find this guy's daughter.
Sure.
Which of course,
who's
because this movie's
definitely his actual daughter.
yeah, because I started to clock that pretty quick. But I also love because this movie's 84 minutes. They go, we're gonna send you the location of this guy's daughter. Cut to he's talking to the daughter. You know what I mean? Like, there's no James Bond would have to like track the daughter down, and there'd be like a whole scene about it. But because this movie's 84 minutes, we just need to cut to he's talking to her.
Yeah, and doesn't he approach her like in disguise, incognito? He has like a cloak over his head.
He's doing like a hunchback thing.
Yeah, he's
begging
like
for
an
money.
Igor.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which I love that they're having a conversation and he's continuing the facade of
his
walking around.
commitment to this bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're supposed to think he's so good. He's so good at disguise.
Actually, the scene he does before this is when he parachutes into this country and pretends to be their general. Because Michael Gold, keep in mind, listen, on the things we know about him, master of disguise.
Master of disguise, master tactician, master weaponsmith. Like he can do it all. He can do everything.
Except for not get captured by bad guys. He's really bad at that.
Well, that's true. That is true. Yeah, that's true. He parachutes down. We completely skipped over it, almost like the order of the scenes.
But this introduces us to our favorite bumbling duo.
Yeah. We of course need that in this movie. We need to make sure they're okay by the end.
Roberta and Ernesto, I think, are their names.
They might be the only characters who have an arc. You know?
They do, and it's so dumb.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's so dumb.
This woman who plays Roberta in this is also in both of the other two movies that this guy had directed before this, White Ghost and Quiet Thunder.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Yes.
Oh man, White Ghost looks pretty up. The White Ghost we might have to do. This looks like a if this is a Bond ripoff, White Ghost looks like a Rambo ripoff.
Great. Yeah, let's do it.
That's what we want. Ooh, it's got Rosalind Chow from Star Trek in it though. I love her, so.
Okay. Yeah.
And William Catt, who was the greatest American hero on TV back then. So. And apparently, according to trivia, according to IMDb trivia for that movie, it has a body count of 142 people. So.
Jesus Christ, we have to watch that.
That's a lot of people that die in that movie.
That is a
holy shit.
I wonder what movie has the highest kill count. You know what I mean? There's got to be.
I'm googling it right now.
Well, I guess there's like apocalypse movies where
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Oh, here we go. The 10 films with the highest on-screen body count. Ooh.
Okay.
I like that we're just not talking about this movie.
There's
Ooh.
nothing to talk about.
Hey,
Yeah.
one of our favorites, 1992's Hard Boiled, 307 on-screen deaths.
Jesus Christ. Yes.
The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, 558.
Whoa. Okay. I guess that makes sense.
This makes sense. 300 has 600 on-screen deaths.
That does make sense.
Yeah, that has a lot of
because
mass
300 of them at the very least are going to be.
Ooh, here's one you don't think about because it's not like violent, like graphic. But this lists the most on-screen deaths. Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King, 836 deaths according to this. Because there's a lot of mass battle in that. Now, it's not gory like a 300 that really zeroes in on the killing, but you do think about how many people have to fucking die in that battle at the end of the movie.
Now, they're not counting Alderaan getting destroyed at
No, this is on-screen deaths, as they're saying. This is people who are actually
technically that was on screen and
let me say,
the planet get destroyed.
Yeah, but that's the kind of stuff where it's like, oh yeah, if a nuke goes off in a movie or something like that, you can.
Right.
But I think this is talking about literally like people who are physically killed on screen. Because it would all be space movies and stuff, right? Where they're blowing up planets.
Yeah.
We can talk about Cosmic Sin. Bruce Willis wiped out an entire alien race in that.
Yeah, because genocide is the only answer, John.
Yeah, man.
All
right. So yeah, he does this. So Brandon Lee parachutes in and then pretends to be this Soviet general.
Well, he has a mustache, John. He has a fake mustache.
Oh yeah, when he's on the plane ride over, we see him gluing the mustache down, like.
Yeah, and he's pretending to be a Cuban general or something like that.
And he's doing this thing where he parachutes in these guards. He's like, "What are you guys doing? You should have seen me coming in. This is all a training exercise."
Yeah, and they're all speaking English, so don't expect them to be speaking.
There is not a word of another language in this movie. Even scenes where it's just Soviets talking to each other. Nope.
Yep, they are speaking English.
Yeah.
I understand why people don't have other languages, but like it still does drive me up the walls. So
yeah, I mean, some movies it's more egregious than others. This one's pretty egregious, I thought, because like sometimes
there's so many different nationalities.
Yeah,
and it's
because even like a Bond movie, and even a Bond movie will have like Russians talking to Russians speak Russian. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing where it's like, when they're talking to James Bond, they're talking English. But if it's just that, they're still like, what? Here,
like unless it's a very clear choice,
like a Hunt for Red October.
Chernobyl.
Yeah, Chernobyl or Hunt for Red October.
Yeah,
Hunt for Red October, I still think does the coolest thing, which is when they're all speaking, it's English, but then when they're speaking to the Americans, we hear them speaking Russian.
Yes.
And so it's all just like our perception as an audience, depending on
whose
like perspective we're watching
13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas.
Ooh,
remember that movie?
Underrated.
Similar
gem.
thing. He's like super underrated. He's like listening to them talking, and as he's figuring it out, it slowly turns into English, so you start to understand it with him, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But
I love it, man.
Not this movie. Anyways, not talking about this movie.
We're not. Well, this movie's just so boring. So anyway, so he does find the daughter, and I don't quite understand why he's doing this hunchback bit, but he is.
John, I don't know.
But then there's
if anything, he's drawing more attention to himself.
Yeah. Well, and of course now our bumbling guards are looking for him, and it leads to this chase across these rooftops, which leads to him jumping on this pole and crashing into somebody's window and hitting with, what is this one-liner?
Go ahead.
I just dropped in to say, bon appetit.
So he falls through their skylight onto their table, breaks their dining room table, and then lays... this happens a lot in action movies. Yeah. But for some reason with this movie, I was like, well, now they're going to have to get a new table.
Well, this this is trying very hard to be like a Roger Moore Bond scene.
Right, exactly, yeah.
But number one, this is not a cool one-liner. In fact, I don't even really follow it. Really, it's just I just dropped in to say
No.
it doesn't really have any. It's not commenting on anything.
And he's also on his way out, and then he turns around. He's like, I just gotta say one more thing.
Hold on, I just came up with a thing here.
Yeah.
Hold on, this just hit me. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Can I just over here? I just dropped in to say bon appetit. Nothing. All right, I'm gone.
Nothing. Okay, I'll see myself out. Oh,
But then
great.
that's the end of the action scene. That's how he gets away. Okay. Because he's got to go to this hilarious combative dinner with the daughter. Boy, they really think they're doing like old movie banter here, don't they?
They really do. Yeah.
And it
does not work.
Painful to watch. But it does sit.
Yeah.
When he pulls her chair out, she says, "Such a gentleman," and he says, "Such a bitch."
That one's for all the divorced dads at home.
Hell yeah, fuck those women, man. Am I right? They're all bitches. Yeah, just like my ex-wife.
Just like my ex-wife.
Just like my fucking bitch of an ex, man. I can't even see my kids. Anyway, I like this Brandon Lee.
Yeah.
I was worried when I saw that his last name was Lee, but now that I look at him, it's okay. Looks Caucasian enough for me.
Yeah.
We did, by the way, we just recorded a Meet the Monsters about the movie The Great Blade, 1998's Blade, which has Bruce Lee's daughter in it, who has an awesome fight scene, Shannon Lee, who has a great fight scene with Wesley Snipes in that movie. So go check that out.
Don't know if I ever put two and two together there.
I didn't actually. I've seen that movie many times, and I didn't know that until I was looking at that. But she's one of the henchmen for the main vampire in that, and she gets a sweet martial arts fight against Wesley Snipes.
Cool.
Yeah, a movie that actually has a ton of martial arts in it. Believe it or not. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost like they hired a guy who is famous for being a martial arts expert, and then let him do that.
Yeah.
By the way, Snipes Month
looking
is
at you, the marksman.
Snipes Month is upcoming, so you get things ready for Snipes September, guys.
I am so ready.
We love Snipes around here. So anyway, yeah, but bad guy, I don't know. Like the big thing that's amazing is she knows how to use a gun too, which is our first clue. She might not be who she says. Because I did think before they started really hinting she's not his actual daughter, when she just drops a couple guys here, I thought, Jesus Christ, that's a quick jump to murder for a regular person to just be okay with.
Yeah.
But of course, I guess I didn't give this movie enough credit that was actually a clue. Ooh, this is a clever script. It's really not. Yeah, she can use a gun too. What did I write here?
Is this the car chase?
This is the car chase. Yeah,
the first of several car chases.
But this is the very A-Team one where they're in the van and he's leaning out. This is a lot of him leaning out with a machine gun, and yes, also at one point a grenade. That I agree, I had to back up to try to track the trajectory of this thing.
This movie also has the infinite ammo. Feature of an action shell. His machine gun literally never runs.
No, there's a very funny thing in this scene. He's leaning out and firing the machine gun, and it hits empty, and then he just racks the slide on it and starts shooting again. I'm like, wait, no, he didn't actually put any more ammo in it. What are you doing? He just pulled the bolt back on it, and for some reason it reloaded the gun. I didn't follow that.
Weird.
That makes
very strange.
No sense.
It's almost like there's nobody on set who knew how guns work.
He also
weird.
He has for a lot of the movies carrying a 1911 45, which has a generally an 8-round magazine. Maybe he could get a 10-round model, but he probably shoots 40 rounds from it in the end of this movie.
Yes,
without ever reloading.
Yes, yeah, and with never reloading, because again, reloading can be so cool, and it adds so much tension to an action sequence.
It really does. You think about that. The trailer for John Wick Chapter 4 just came out, and there's a thing in the trailer where John Wick is holding a guy while he reloads his pistol with one hand and then shoots him.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's really
man. Cool. The John Wick movies have a lot of great reloads. They do a lot of cool stuff with reloading. But no, here there's no interest in that. There's a couple times. There's also one point later where he shoots the gun until it's empty, and you actually see the slide lock back, indicating it's empty, and he just hits the slide release and puts it forward, and then puts it back in his holster. I'm like, no, wait, you didn't put a new magazine in it. He's also carrying a 45, which, because that's a gun with big bullets, obviously, it just inherently has. Even if he's carrying like a Beretta, like a 9mm, you're looking more at like a 15-round magazine. But so
right, exactly.
He's
they can only fit so many bullets in this gun.
Right, and that's the thing. So they've consciously given him a high-caliber gun that has a limited magazine as a result of that. No, they don't fucking care in this
These are all
movie.
things to consider. These are all things you can consider when constructing fight scenes.
I don't understand how you can be an action filmmaker and not put thought to guns like this. Like constructing action sequences, choosing what guns you want for that. I'm sorry, that's just irresponsible. Like, it's just, that's the thing about people, as not being a gun guy. Why do I know so much about guns? Because I'm frequently writing stuff where people use guns, and I want them to function like they really do.
Yeah.
I feel like that's on me as a genre writer.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Because at a certain point,
know what you're working with.
And it's laser mission, so at a certain point, I'm like, just give him a fucking laser gun then he can have limitless
laser
shots.
gun. Yeah, there should be like a laser pistol at the end of like a big, two-handed laser gun.
Oh god, if he had like what would be like a Gatling gun or like a
or like a Moonraker essentially.
Yeah,
right?
man. Oh man, Moonraker has so much laser action down the stretch.
Yes.
I wish this movie was closer in tone to a Moonraker. I'm so bummed. This is not like a Moonraker. So yeah, this is. But of course, because we can't kill these goofy henchmen. So when they drive off of the side of this building into the water, yes, this is where we get the bit with the wet T-shirt where the guy bumbling henchman seems to have just now realized that the woman is a woman.
Yes.
What is that about?
I think he is like so stupid that it doesn't even. The way that he's playing this character, I'm not getting the impression he knows how to feed himself. You know what I mean?
No,
the level of cognition is
they're
that
both
low.
stupid, but the woman is slightly smarter, and this guy is we're getting into not just dumb, but like brain damaged. Like something happened.
Exactly.
To this guy. There's a story. Here.
He was definitely lobotomized.
Also, can we talk about a woman out in the field doing action and she's not wearing a bra of any sort?
That seems a little strange.
It seems
like
odd. It seems odd, yeah. And just to do this,
yeah, it's almost like they only did that so that they could see boobs.
I mean,
boobs.
You know what part I liked of the movie? Where the lady came out of the water.
Yeah, I paused that a lot.
I like that part. Hey, why is this VHS getting all fuzzy during this scene? I can't figure.
It's so weird.
People who worked in video stores back then talked about stuff like that. Like,
wasn't that the Stranger Things bit?
Yeah, the Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And I've heard stories of people where the movie would get returned and it'd been paused and stuff so much that the tape had actually worn during that section of the movie. Oh, the 80s when you had to work to see boobs.
Yeah.
We're spoiled now.
Yeah.
So, can we talk about Kalashnikov's collection of severed heads that he threatens Ernest Borgnine with? He just has a room full of severed heads in jars.
Oh, John, I forgot. I thought you were talking about the the room where there's a bunch of animal stuffed heads.
Yeah, that's the other guy. See, that's the thing. There's two bad guys. That's the tracker guy because he's the tracker hunter. This is the general guy who's going.
Yes, right.
Basically, he's going, "You have a beautiful daughter. If you don't do what I say, I'll have to add her to my collection." And that's where he has
her to his Spirit of Halloween level.
Oh, these look like
haunted.
shit. Because you know what movie does this well and oft mentioned because it's a perfect action movie? The Mask of Zorro. Do you remember the bad guy has the heads in jars in that?
Yes.
And that's cool because they number one have the budget to make the heads look realistic. And it's actually like a whole thing about how he doesn't respect the immigrant, the migrant workers and stuff like that. And he's literally collecting their body parts. That movie thought that out and wrote a script and made it part of a character. Here, because the other thing is, this never comes back again.
Nope. No.
But Ernest
it's not even mentioned again.
And fucking Hollywood legend Ernest Borgnine is doing his best to be like, ah.
These effects are so bad. Oh.
You know, I was in a Best Picture winner once upon a time. Shut up, Borgnine. Okay. This is another one.
Look at this latex head.
Yeah. Hey, I remember when I was working on The Wild Bunch with Sam Peckinpah. Oh, God, here we go with the Wild Bunch stories. I love the idea that they would be like, oh, God, here we go, Borgnine. Whatever. Yeah. Oh, you want to show us your Oscar again? Well, I thought you guys would like to see what an Oscar looks. Okay.
Well, maybe I should bring it on set with me every day.
He did. He's the 33 years before this, he wins an Oscar, which is. Can you once again? Can you lose an Oscar? Can they take?
I don't think it's ever happened.
No.
Has that ever happened?
No, you can't.
And even if like somebody was revealed to be like truly despicable, like that's
Will Smith
that's
almost lost his. There was a debate when he slapped Chris Rock at the thing. There was a discussion about will they take the Oscar back,
which is not even close to the worst thing that somebody who's won an Oscar has done. But okay,
we were all outraged about that. Do you get the feeling that nobody kind of gives a shit about that anymore, and we're all just cool with Will Smith again? Like, I'll never forget that he did that, but I am like, I guess I'll see another Bad Boys movie.
I don't know. Yeah, I felt fairly indifferent about it. Like, it's not something I would have done.
No, it's an objectively shitty thing to do. And it made me think poorly of him, but I'm not sure it was like, well, this guy can't be in movies anymore. But that was the conversation for like a month after. People go like, that's it. He'll never work again. Like, I don't know. This
is the worst thing that Hollywood's ever done.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? It's just like, wait, what about this guy's worse than Harvey Weinstein, man. Hey, he may have raped like 100 women, but he never slapped anyone on an award show. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of the
most... And all the people who propped up Weinstein are still working in Hollywood, but yeah, let's get Will Smith out of here.
Yeah. This Will Smith he lost control of his temper once in a decades-long career, and fucking hell, man, he's got to go. Yeah, I do sort of...
He's got to go. He's got to go.
Because, like, everybody's going, oh, we've never actually seen him do that in any other setting or anything. He's not really known as a violent guy. He clearly had some kind of breakdown. Yeah, it is one of those things where it is just like, I don't know. My thought was more like, maybe Will Smith needs to talk to somebody about why he would go up and do that. Not he needs to never be in films again. Because apparently it was things like they're going like, Disney can't bring him back as the genie, right? They're going to put this guy in a kids movie? He's a menace.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Whatever.
Sure.
All right. We do get, I'm just kind of rolling through the movie here. I'm just sort of, because I'm taking less notes on these movies more and more and just sort of writing down key points. We do get, Brandon Lee attacking a bad guy compound with a rocket launcher, and there is a guy on fire as a result of that, which are 2 points. I wrote that down. 2 points in the favor of any action shelf movie. We love a rocket launcher and a guy on fire. This movie also has one of our favorite things, which is a guy falling out of a guard tower.
That is also classic. There's some decent options here for kill of the movie. Honestly,
there actually are. I will say that is nice. That is nice. Because I do want to talk about the guy when he kicks the guy into the electric fence.
That's pretty good.
I like
That's
that.
Pretty good. Or the guy that he banes, he drops him over his knee.
That was awesome, that backbreaker move. And that's the kind of thing where I kept going, yes, more of that in this movie. That's what this movie needs.
Yeah.
You've got Brandon Lee. Have him fucking get that gun out of his hand. Have him start taking people out with his hands.
Yeah.
Where's like this movie really feels like it needs a throat rip. How does it not have that?
It really does. Yeah, it's already rated R. No,
go at it, man.
Might as well throat rip.
Because dude, someday we'll talk about Roadhouse on here, which is cinema's greatest throat rip.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's up there with the testicle rip from Sonny Chiba's The Street Fighter.
Oh, right.
God
Classic.
damn, he just tears the guy's balls off in that movie. And then does that thing I love that's only in Kung Fu movies, where he's holding the bloody testicles and going, ah! Man, don't watch this. Go watch the Street Fighter. The Street Fighter is one of my favorite martial arts movies.
That movie's fantastic.
That movie fucking ruled. And by the way, tell you about a movie that does take it. That's the first movie that ever got an X rating for violence.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the original
Oh,
Street Fighter is
interesting.
the first movie that got an X rating, not for sexual content, but for just the amount of gore in it. And it delivers, man. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like this movie would be more fun if it got more grindhousey. It's a little too. It's a little too chaste in
tame
in its violence and its sexuality. That you're like, oh, this movie feels a little immature. The R rating is pretty shocking because honestly, dude, this could have been a PG even at this point. Really,
exactly. Yeah, because it's not far off.
It's on the level of Bond movies, which were getting PGs at this point. You know,
exactly. They cut the wet shirt sequence, and I wonder if maybe it would have gotten something.
And even that, it feels like I think you could have done the wet T-shirt thing even in a PG-13 at this point.
I guess that's true.
Because I mean, that's not. I mean, that's not really considered nudity, and it's pretty quick, really.
It is. Yeah, I mean, I can think of PG that have topless women.
The Fifth Element comes to mind as having
Fifth Element,
much more nudity than this, and that's PG-13.
Yeah,
but that's artsy.
Yeah, exactly.
Titanic.
Yes. Yep.
I never
Titanic,
understood.
Another great example.
How did Titanic get a PG-13? I've never understood that.
No
that
idea.
is wild.
I think it's because it's James Cameron.
That's what I mean.
Nobody says no to James Cameron.
I think that's the thing. But I am going like, dude, that's like an extended. And I'm not here to say like, oh my god, I'm offended. But it's just going like, if you're playing by
we're not
Academy rules,
clutching here. Yeah.
No, but it's just like based on your own rules. That's an extended nude scene. But I think somebody goes, but it's art.
Okay,
fuck off.
People argue that pornography can be art, you know, and I'm not gonna say one way or the other, but like, it's just your own opinion and your.
But I can think of some other really artsy scenes where nudity is more integral to the plot that got slapped with an R. So that kind of stuff where you're going.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like, how essential was the nudity?
Not at all, man.
Really,
the painting itself, sure, but you didn't have to actually see Kate Winslet necessarily. I mean, you could have just had her implied nudity and just you saw the painting. But James Cameron, that's another. Yeah, James Cameron goes, "I'm gonna get boobs in a PG-13. You watch me do it."
Exactly.
All right.
I feel like he does all of the decisions he makes are out of spite.
He's one of these guys.
He feels that way,
and I think he's even kind of said that where he goes like, when people tell me I can't do something, that's what gets me going. Like that's what starts the creative energy. And it is like, man, I do not operate from that. I do not. He almost is like, come on, tell me I can't do it. Tell me I can't do this. I'll fucking do it. Like. Yeah,
that's not a healthy mindset.
I don't think I don't think
maybe it works for him.
I don't think he's a mentally healthy man. A lot of people fucking hate that guy.
I don't think he's happy.
I don't think he could be. I think he's one of those guys who just one of my favorite notes I've ever written for one of these movies: flirting interrupted by arrow attack. Because they almost kiss, and then an arrow shoots between the two of them.
That's true. I do remember that scene.
For no reason at all, because they then just immediately shoot the shit out of this guy.
Do they? I thought he escaped.
No, they chase him down and gun him down.
And they don't even question him. They're just like, nope, this guy's got to go.
There's a lot of we're not even going to have banter. We're just going to gun somebody down in this movie, which is pretty boring. It can be cool once, like every once in a while, like a Bond movie will do that where he'll just take somebody out and you're like, ooh, badass. But usually it has like weight to it.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Usually. There's nothing. Yeah, well, because we don't care about these characters at all. So, and then there's another guy. Did you? My favorite guy is the guy who just charges at them on this horse and they shoot him.
Yes. That sequence was so long. I'm like, I don't even know if this, like, because
it's slow motion too.
John, it's slow motion and it's so boring, and literally Brandon Lee is just standing like he's doing the pose, you know. And this guy can't hit anything. He can't hit the backside of a barn.
I don't think Brandon Lee ever takes cover in this movie.
Nope.
He's literally...
No, not at all.
You're in the wide open desert. This guy is charging him on a horse with a machine gun. Brandon Lee is sitting there sighting this guy up with his handgun. And he's just shooting
Misses
bullets
the first couple of shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's the other thing. All of these bad guys come one at a time.
Yes.
And it's not the same scene. It's one scene where one guy comes up and attacks them, and then another scene where one guy comes up and attacks them. At a time. That's the rest of the fucking movie.
Something that does not help this movie is that I just got the 4K box set of the Jackie Chan Police Story movies, and so I've been watching those. And there's the moment in the first Police Story where the bus is coming at him, and he does stand there and line up with the pistol, and it's bad ass. It's so cool.
Yes.
And this is that scene done very poorly. By the way, dude, the Police Story movies. I mean, it's one of those things where it doesn't need to be stated, but all three of those are just perfect action movies. God damn. I think those are my favorite Jackie Chan movies. I
think I agree.
The Police Story, all three of them. I really think like it's one. I've seen people go like, "Well, two's bad." I'm like, I don't know, man. They're all pretty equally good to me. I have a soft spot for Super Cop just because it also has Michelle Yeoh, and that makes things better because she's amazing.
She's amazing. Yeah.
We could have used anybody with that kind of charisma in this thing. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Just
anybody. And then so he takes the horse, and we get this. Oh, did you laugh at I was busting a gut when he rolls up to this fancy hotel on horseback, and he turns to the valet and says about the horse, "Park him around the corner."
Yeah, John, I still haven't recovered from busting a gut last night.
That's the whole thing about this movie, though. It's like, I understand you guys know the rhythms of a James Bond movie because you're going like, that's very... because this kind of reminds me of the beginning of Octopussy when he pulls up into the gas station in the jet and he goes, fill her up.
Yes.
But that is funny.
Yes.
But sort of thing where you're going like, you know Bond movies do this kind of thing, but you have no idea how to actually execute it.
Nope.
And also...
Although, to be fair, some Bond movies don't know how to execute it.
Oh, I'm not...
Do you remember when...
Go for it.
In, I think it was Moonraker when he drives the out of the water.
Yep.
And a bird does a double take.
The pigeon double, the famous... I don't know if you've ever listened to the James Bonding podcast. They have an ongoing argument on there about the stupidest moment in a James Bond movie, and it's the argument. The argument is they've come down to it's either pigeon double take or Kananga balloon in Live and Let Die, when Kananga gets shot with the compressed air gun and turns into a balloon that flies around. No, it's a hard choice.
That's tough because Live and Let Die is really good.
I do think
except for that.
The Kananga balloon is the more damaging moment to the movie because Moonraker is a silly movie aside from that. But Live and Let Die is one of my favorite Bond movies, and that is a very silly ending for a movie that really isn't that silly. It's actually one of the more straightforward Bond movies. You know, it's pretty much a crime picture with Bond, and then he fucking shoots a guy with a compressed air bullet. No, the Bond movies whiff on some stuff, but in general, there's a beat to them and to these kind of And Roger Moore was always the king of these kind of like blah 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 sort of moments. You know, the one line. He was the best of the one-liner Bonds.
Yes.
Although I always thought Brosnan had an affinity with them too.
Yeah, because Brosnan rides that line a little bit.
Well, we've always talked about Brosnan is the best Bond with the worst scripts.
Yes.
Because on
Other
paper,
than GoldenEye.
GoldenEye's perfect. That's like my second favorite Bond movie.
Yeah, it's my.
Yeah. It's edged out slightly by Skyfall, but it's my number 2
That's
right
fair.
after that. Yeah, those are my top 2 though. Let's see here. Oh yeah, so they get sexy in the hotel.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things here. There's some really great lines that I just want to highlight.
Oh, please do.
I like to highlight. good screenwriting on this podcast.
I think people have often said of the acting shelf, it is a celebration of screenwriting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So when he's telling his plan to her, he says, "I'll go tonight and see what I can find for the cover of Dark." That's really
Good stuff.
and not a lot of subtext there. And then he gets a call about, I'm trying to remember, something was happening in 3 hours, or they need to get suits or like a new outfit or something ready.
Oh, yeah, yes. He sends them out to be dry cleaned.
Yes, that's what it was. 3 hours, and then he looks over at her. Can you make it 5 hours? Assuming that they're going to be fucking for 5 hours.
Which I gotta say is one of these things where it's like, dude, that's not like Studley. That's not like, that's a thing movies do, and I'm just going like, I don't go like, I go like, God, that sounds painful. Like hours straight of sex? Are you kidding me? My hip's gonna go out.
Well, it's not like all gonna. I mean, this movie probably assumes that they're just going at it for 5 hours.
Yeah.
Theoretically, there would be some breaks in between. Maybe small talk.
You know what you never see is like the break in sex where it's like, all right, we just finished that. Let me get a sandwich and a bottle of water. You never see anybody do that.
The only example I can think of is like 40-Year-Old Virgin has that.
Well, because actually, I have talked about, I think Judd Apatow has the most realistic sex scenes in his movie because he has all the awkward beats of them. It's like, that it's never done. None of his sex scenes are ever sexy. They're all like, oh yeah, that's what it is. It's pretty awkward and weird. Like, this sort of thing where it's like, yeah, let's not pretend that it's not. Sex is only fun in the moment. As soon as you have any view outside of it, you're like, this is pretty weird and strange.
Yes,
I feel like that's, and I feel like Apatow captures that here. This doesn't even go as far as a Bond movie with the sex scene.
No, they start kissing,
and then they lower out of camera onto they're laying onto the bed while they're kissing, and then it just cuts to
exactly.
She's up and getting dressed, and she goes out, and of course is immediately captured.
Yes,
because there's no time.
Was she? Well, okay. So she left a note saying going to get food or something.
Going shopping because women be shopping.
What it was. So was she actually going shopping? What was her goal?
I don't know. I think in retrospect, we're supposed to think she was maybe going out to contact her handlers, and she's an agent. That's kind of my read now, having seen the whole movie.
And Brandon Lee reads this note and believes it.
Yeah.
I don't think either of them have money or credit cards, right? I haven't seen.
But once
them,
again,
have
Listman,
anything.
Women be shopping.
She has no way to purchase anything, but she has out shopping.
Women be shopping. Because he is just okay. It's like you guys, you're on
sticks on him. Like he's just sitting around in a park a while, and I'm like, what is the pacing of this? This is where the movie was really confused. It's just, why are we focusing on him just waiting around for some reason?
Yeah, because he's going to end up infiltrating a bad guy compound here. Because this is where he kicks a guy into an electric fence, which is pretty good. I do like a guy just getting fried in an action movie.
Yeah, classic.
That's pretty good. Classic. And then, what is this beat? He's like sneaking around, and then our hero, Michael Gold, just trips and falls in a hole. Yeah. And that's what happens.
Yeah.
I had to back it up and go, that didn't something. Nope. He just tripped and fell in a hole. Oops. Uh-oh.
The most anticlimactic thing I could possibly.
They go immediately from guy in the electric fence, and then it's like, don't down. Oh, shit.
And he's captured.
Yep.
Okay, well.
Great stuff, man. Great stuff.
He was defeated by his one true weakness, which is pratfalls.
The guy, you say what you will about Michael Gold, he's not sure-footed. He's captured. This is where they talk about Ernest Borgnine has the knowledge of this super weapon that's a mix of lasers and nukes, and the bad guys can start World War III. Which
Yeah.
but like, why? Why do they want to start World War III?
I don't know.
Because like, once again,
if the Russians wanted to start World War, have like,
yeah, I know that's the thing.
You
Because
didn't
like,
need a space laser to do it.
no, because that's the thing in the Bond movies. It's never actually about we're going to use this laser and destroy stuff. It's always, I have this laser. You have to pay me not to use it, right? It's always that sort of thing. Or
it's like trying to start, or like it's somebody trying to get Russia and the
Yes.
U.S. Fighting, but it's not actually Russia, the bad guy.
Like one of my favorite Bond movies is A View to a Kill, and in that it's all about Christopher Walken's going to flood Silicon Valley, so he'll be the only person able to sell computer chips, which is like an insane comic book plan. But I follow.
Yes.
Okay, I do this, which equals profit for me. These guys,
there is a plan.
They're just like, we'll start World War III because
I don't know.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Would it?
Why do they want to start it? I don't know.
Yeah, because the bad guys are nothing in this movie.
Yeah. Yes.
And then they've also got, so they have people mining for diamonds. Is that what they're doing? So they can make more diamond weapons?
I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So this is the mine where they found the very big diamond, right?
I think that's the
very
idea.
big diamond?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. The diamond that's shaped like a butt plug.
It really is. It's hard not to see. It's one of those things where you're like, oh, God, come on, guys.
I'm surprised nobody sits on it.
Wait a minute. This isn't a diamond. This is just a sex toy. Oh, never mind. Like it really, yeah. What? Wait, what were you doing in my sock drawer? This is not. No, for the love of God. So yeah. For some reason though, because our stupid fucking dumb henchmen have been forced to work the mines.
They show up again.
They show up again.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Brandon Lee, of course, instantly escapes here, which leads to a very brief, because this is where I thought, oh, here we go. And this is the room where they're in all the like animal pelts and hunting trophies.
Yes, the room that was very visually noisy and hard to focus on anything because it just kind of looked terrible.
How do you know? Once again, I'm going to talk about Roadhouse because it's an awesome movie, but there's a thing in Roadhouse where the bad guy has all these trophies like this, animal, stuffed animals and stuff. But in that movie, Swayze uses them to kill bad guys.
Yeah, if you're going to put it in the movie, there might as well be a reason why.
Weren't you? I was waiting for like an elk horn or a rhino or something for somebody to get impaled on or stuck with or something. No.
Nope.
They throw a few, but for half a second I thought, all right, finally the kung fu fight, and then it's over pretty quick. And Brandon Lee doesn't even really kill this guy. They just happen to fall off the roof, and Brandon Lee misses this fence, and this guy's impaled on it. Which is pretty
classic action shelf move.
It is pretty cool. It's not as good as the one in Livewire.
Yes, that is true.
But also, that's the thing that the reason I think this loses out as kill of the movie to me is it was just incidental. He didn't do anything to cause this.
Nope. He didn't even throw him off the roof.
No.
The guy just fell off. It's
because think about another awesome moment from a Roger Moore Bond movie, and I can't remember which one it's in, where the guy grabs him by the tie, and Bond just lets the tie tear and he falls. That's the kind of thing that's like, it's still like a gravity death, but Bond is still a badass for letting it happen.
Yeah. He still like chops the
it. Yeah,
tie.
Yeah. And the guy falls, and it's awesome.
It's active. It's an active kill.
That's the thing is like, I'm so on board to love Brandon Lee in this, but the script is doing everything to make him not cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, they're in the
okay.
And okay, now we're ripping off Raiders of the Lost Ark with this scene where the general has the fake daughter captured, and he's got her out in the camp here, and and she gets a one-liner here where he says, Diamonds are a girl's best friend, I'm told. And she says, not this girl.
Yeah, and then he starts dragging, like, moving a razor blade, sort of like a shaving razor.
Yeah, he's got like a straight
near
razor,
her.
yeah, or a cutthroat
Straight
razor, yeah.
like, yeah.
And
But not doing anything with it. It
Yeah.
was a very extended sequence.
And I thought,
of nothing
because I thought, is he
happening.
gonna like cut the straps off her dress or something?
That's what. No, because it's very clearly not actually a sharp razor. So
No, that's the
can't
thing that's
actually
weird
cut
about it.
anything.
I'm like, boy, here's an example of a movie just getting to the edge of sexual assault, but not wanting to really go there. But at the same time,
which-
not.
Why be in there at all if you're like?
That's
I
it
don't know.
exactly. Either do the sexual assault or leave it out. I don't like that, and I'm not advocating. We don't like when they do rape scenes in these movies. But why even like this? Is
why even
pointless.
have this in there?
Yeah, it's just weird. Once again,
Yeah.
it's sort of like Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is a way cooler and creepier scene though, where he is just trying to like seduce Marion Belloc.
Yes,
He's got her in a
yes.
dress. He's having dinner with her. You know, it is him being less overtly sexual is more disturbing to me in that movie.
Yeah,
Which is an unfair comparison because Raiders of the Lost Ark is a perfect movie.
one of the best movies ever. Yeah,
Yeah, unquestionably. That's like a top 5 all-time just movie for me. I think that's a masterpiece.
yeah.
It's Spielberg's best film, in my opinion. You know, welcome to things. I think Jurassic Park, there's an argument for it too, but Raiders is perfection. So yeah, but don't worry, because here comes Brandon Lee. Oh, this is kind of ripping off View to a Kill, where they say to kill the miners. This is in View to a Kill, if you remember. Christopher Walken has people mining for him in that movie, and then he himself, to display what a psycho he is, mows them down with a machine gun himself, which tells you something about a character. Because it's actually a really brutal Bond movie scene where you're like, holy shit, this guy's committing mass murder. Here, he's just like, yeah, just have everybody killed.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Everybody in this movie is so non-committal.
It's very blasé.
Yeah, they're just like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll make a laser weapon. You know.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, how do you feel
Not
about
World War III?
Yeah, how do you feel about World War III?
Yeah, you like did you enjoy World War II?
Yeah.
Was that fun?
Yeah, I think we could go bigger. I think it could be bigger. This could be big. We got to complete the trilogy. So yeah, we get that. Brandon Lee comes running into the place here. Everybody's shooting around. Whatever.
Sure.
There's a scene where the Kalashnikov gets a gun on Brandon Lee, but the Alyssa, by the way, is the female lead's name.
Oh,
She
right.
puts a
Yes,
gun
forgot
to
about that.
the general's head, and then this pretty long one-liner where he says, "You have an impeccable sense of timing. One of the many things I like about you." Blah. We also got Ernest Borgnine just running around with a shotgun. I don't know if he actually shoots anybody with it.
That's what I was wondering. So at this point, what is Ernest Borgnine doing? Because they're both, because him and Borgnine infiltrate
Yeah,
this
right.
camp together.
Yeah, because he kills
So Brandon
the
Lee
other
goes
guy,
off and
gets
deals
Borgnine out,
and like
yeah.
rescues her.
Right.
I guess he's looking for his actual. I guess.
Yeah, because that's still the thing. But Borgnine's just kind of shuffling around as an old man with this shotgun, and he's just
Because they can't be together because it would reveal too early that Alyssa is not his daughter, I guess.
correct.
But it's very poorly constructed because then it just feels like he's just like lost.
Well, he
you
ends
know?
up
And he's just
teaming
kind of
up with
wandering
these two
around.
fucking dumb henchmen who now are on the
Right.
good guy's side.
Right. They've learned. They've seen the light of capital.
There's
the
a
West.
very brief and lame fight between Brandon Lee and the General Kalashnikov in this mine.
Yeah.
And it turns into this
pretty nice.
hostage situation where they want this cool moment where the guy's like, "That's right, I have the girl, and you and I have to banter now." And Brandon Lee just shoots him like 8 times.
Yes.
And then you
if
watch him
thought this
fall
is
down
where he
the mine.
dies, You'd
Well, because
Yeah, you'd be wrong.
Yeah, he gets shot a bunch of times, and then the camera makes a point of showing him roll down back into the mine, and you're like, "Oh,
Yep.
he got him." And then
Got him.
you want to talk about a bad exchange? That thing where she goes, "I knew you could do it." He goes, "Really?" And she says, "What, you didn't?" He goes, "I guess I never really thought about it." Oh, amazing dialogue exchange there.
The dialogue is just crackling on the page.
And
You
by
know,
the way, I
it's
watched
so
the
good.
trailer for this, and that dialogue exchange is in the trailer. They tried to use that to sell this movie.
Yeesh.
Yeah,
So bad.
they thought
This
that
is
was
one
a real
of the worst
highlight.
scripts I've ever.
It
fucking
is a
seen.
horrible because in particular the plot is nonsensical, which we're used to, but really all the dialogue in this is awful.
It's atrocious.
There is
Yeah.
no. That's why I'm saying like there are bad actors in this, but really even the best actors can't make this stuff work.
No.
So
No.
yeah, so they escape there. And this is where the here comes the CIA or whatever government organization in a helicopter with his real daughter. Because he's like,
Yes.
I don't know who this woman is. What?
Wait, is this before or after the mining?
No, the mine is not exploded yet because that's when we
Okay.
think he dies for the second time, Kalashnikov.
Yes.
Because this is so
Yes.
because they land with that and they go, that's my real daughter. This woman's an agent, and then
Yes.
when they're about to take off, that's when I don't understand. Didn't he get shot like 8 times in the chest? He has no wounds on him.
No, but he does set off the bomb
Yes,
that he then gets exploded by.
because he has rigged the mine to explode now that he doesn't
Right.
need it anymore or whatever.
So he might be the only one aware that there's a bomb, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
So
but he
so he
stands there
sets the bomb.
right next to the mine, and he's like, "Gold!" And he aims his gun to shoot him, and then the mine explodes, and he's engulfed by flames. And I thought, okay, now for sure he's dead, right? Nope.
Yeah, you'd think. You'd
Nope.
think.
Nope.
So somewhere in the sequence, Brandon Lee and Alyssa are together, and I think it's after he shoots Kalashnikov,
Yeah.
and then it cuts to him running into Ernest Borgnine, and he's looking for Alyssa,
Yes.
and it's like, well, weren't you guys together already? That's strange. And so a little bit happens there, and then it goes back to him and Alyssa being together, and this is where I think they just put in a sequence, just slapdash in the middle of the movie, I think, to make it a little bit long. They just took a little bit of like B-roll.
I think
put
you're-
it in the middle of the
I
sequence.
think you're exactly right about that. I think that's exactly
Yeah,
what happened.
that's what it's incredibly confusing. It's very hard to.
Very hard to follow. It's
yeah,
nonsense. So much of this movie is hard to follow, like you're talking about, because of the cutting of stuff. It's so hard to follow. Like you're just going like, wait,
Yes.
what? And what?
Yeah, and I think that this last death of Kalashnikov is the best one.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
him getting blown up by his own bomb. But
Well,
like,
because he's now torched, right? He's completely
yes.
How he did? He was completely engulfed by flames, and he's okay.
Yeah.
And this is where he leaps onto the front of the Jeep they're driving away on. And then
And then they just run into a wall.
they just drive him through a brick wall.
Yep.
And I still am not convinced he's really dead because you just see his bloody hand under the bricks. For all I know,
Did you think, like, right at the end of the movie, his hand would like pop out?
I
of the
100% expected that because why not at this point? But you're just going like, because I thought, well, that's pretty insane that he survived getting shot. But then I'm like, okay, engulfed by flames. But when he leaps again, I was laughing out loud at this, going, "Are you kidding me?"
I wrote "still alive." How? Just end, please.
But
What were my notes there?
but the movie still is going. Well, it's not over
Yeah.
yet.
There's still more to do.
It's technically still a movie here, you guys. So yeah, they drive him through and then it's like, and Brandon Lee even doesn't look back to see that his bloody hand isn't moving. He's like, okay, yeah, good. All right. No, that got it.
Okay,
He's done. He's good. No, we're good. We're good.
He's,
And then, what's this end gag about who has the diamond?
I don't know.
There's a whole bit here
It-
about like, who's the rightful owner of the diamond? Brandon Lee's like, I am. And they're like, boy, what are you going to do with it? You could sell it to the highest bidder. And isn't he just kind of like, yeah, I sure could. In the violence of the night.
No, he's gonna sit on it, John. I think that's pretty well established.
They're going to take this diamond back to the hotel, him and Alyssa, and have some fun with that, if you know what I mean.
Have some fun with it. Well, that's not the only goof at the end of this. His two government official superiors show up in a helicopter,
right?
And are like, "Great job, we believed in you the whole time." And then the bumbling henchmen steal their helicopter.
Oh,
and everybody's laughing at that.
Yeah, number one, why did the bumbling henchmen steal the helicopter? And two, why are all the characters so delighted by it? They're like, oh, yeah, look at those two.
And this...
Even Borgnine is going,
is very good. I think Brandon Lee is good in this movie, but when he laughs, point, it is the most psychotic laugh. That's exactly it, John. It's so forced that I felt terrified. I was terrified. What the hell?
Yeah, because like he's doing this very loud laugh, but his face isn't committing to it, so it seems like Jesus Christ.
It's like when you see somebody smile without but their eyes stay new.
Yeah.
Kind of what.
Yes. Yeah. Oh boy. Well, so ends Laser Mission, Listen.
Yeah.
A movie we've talked about longer.
Playing the song again.
Yeah. In the violence of the night. I was going to say, a movie we've talked about longer than the runtime because it's not hard. This movie's so short. And actually, I will say...
It's the best thing about the movie.
It doesn't really drag. It's dumb, but I wouldn't say the movie... I mean, it doesn't make sense, but I was more confused than I was bored.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree.
I'm not saying it was like a thrill a minute. It was more like, wait, what?
The only dragging that I really felt was happening was the 3 or 4 deaths that Kalashnikov.
Yeah, because it's stupid and I don't know what it's saying. It's like, I'm sorry, is he somehow indestructible? Did we miss a subplot? Did
we miss a subplot where he's a super soldier? I don't understand.
I'm on board for that.
Sure.
Robo Kalashnikov. His eyes start glowing red like a Terminator at the end of this thing. And that's actually what it felt. It felt like a Terminator thing, because the whole thing in those movies are you keep thinking you've killed it. But that makes sense because that's a machine.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Well, we actually do have some stuff to go through here. What is the kill of the movie?
So we've got a couple of options. There's the guy who's on fire.
There is
the guy who gets electrocuted. The guy who gets dropped on the knee.
Yeah. Yeah, the backbreaker's pretty sweet.
One guy gets shot and falls backwards over a barrel. That's not a cool death, but it is fun.
Yeah, we do love that. That's such an old movie stunt to me, and I just love that. I love anything that looks like it belongs at like a Wild West stunt show.
Exactly. Yeah.
I enjoy that kind of stuff. There is the guy impaled, but like I said, I think that's ruined by context. But the impaling itself is okay.
That worked pretty well.
I mean, Kalashnikov being driven through a brick wall is pretty fun.
Kalashnikov has 3 of the 5 deaths.
I gotta put in my vote for Backbreaker because it's the death I
think
want.
So too.
I wanted that the most. The movie doesn't really deliver on that kind of moments, and that's the only time Brandon Lee does something that made me go like, "Oh, got him!" You know?
Yes, I agree. When we were watching the movie, Maggie and I both agreed. When it happens, I don't think this movie's going to top that death.
I think that. Like I said, I'm glad the movie delivers on fun death like an electrocution and a guy on fire, and a guy driven through a brick wall.
Of course.
All that stuff is great. This movie does deliver on some of the visceral, silly action movie stuff we want. Yeah, but I think we got to go Backbreaker because that's just cool, man. And like I said, it's the only time he's doing like a martial arts kill.
Yep.
Well, how about not a lot of one-liners, not a lot of great ones. So let's go through these.
True.
When he's talking to the guy coming into the country about his job, and he says, "Let's put it this way: I'll always have a job." When he's talking to Ernest Borgnine about science stuff, he says, "I specialized in recess and girls." Yeah, it's the Simpsons. One audience member cough. When he crashes into the people's house and says, I just dropped in to say bon appetit. You get the thing in the restaurant where he pulls out the chair and she says, "Such a gentleman," and he says, "Such a bitch." When he pulls up on the horse at the fancy hotel and says to the valet, "Park him around the corner." When the bad guy says, "Diamonds are a girl's best friend, I'm told," and she says, "Not this girl." And then finally, you when she pulls the gun on the general who's about to kill him, he says, "You have an impeccable sense of timing. One of the many things I like about you."
We have to pick one from these.
One of these has to win. Okay, I'll say this. Okay. I've narrowed it down to 2 that by this movie standards I'm giving. Okay, I just dropped in to say bon appetit or park him around the corner. The 2 Roger Moore kind of, because that's what this movie's trying to be, right? This is trying to be in the Roger Moore, specifically, I think, Bond vein, right?
The one I had a stronger reaction to was the drop. I just dropped in to say, but I was like, "Hey, that's their dining table. That's mean." So it didn't really work.
Yeah, I think it might be park him around back.
I think so. Yeah, it works the best, even though it doesn't work well.
No, but by this movie standards, it's the most sensical one-liner.
Exactly. Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
I guess that's it.
By default,
it's not like this is going to come up.
We'll never talk about this ever again.
Yeah,
we'll never talk about this ever again. I don't know if this movie's going to ever find its way into the end of the year because this is pretty bad. It's also
not good enough nor bad enough.
Right? It's got that thing where it's like it's not hilariously terrible. There's a couple moments that are, but in general, it's just a pretty forgettable, lame movie. However.
Yeah,
somebody might disagree with us, Lisman, and it's time to go to IMDb's most misguided opinion. That is, by the way, what I've renamed the segment because they're not always strange, I found, but these are always misguided opinions on movies, is what I'm calling the segment now.
Yes.
Okay, so this review comes to us from Colin Voss, IMDb user Colin Voss, and the review is titled, "This is an awesome low-budget action film that does not deserve the 2.5 rating it gets." Because, yes, this has an average score of 2.5 stars.
I think that is maybe a little low for this movie.
Yeah. There are a number of 10-star reviews that really enjoy this as, like, a campy film. And I think that is the best.
Yeah.
That is not how this guy enjoys it, I don't think, though. Okay, so here's the thing. Okay. So he starts his review similar to how he titled it. "This is an awesome low-budget action film that does not deserve the 2.5 rating it gets on this site. All the characters were really cool, and the film is action-packed. And it also had a really cool story to it as well." Strong disagree on that. There are a lot of action films that are much worse than this that deserve to get this rating, in my opinion. I mean, that is true. We have seen worse movies than this, but I wouldn't. That's not a hard bar to jump over, man. And hey, it helps if you got Brandon Lee as the main star. Only thing I agree with, I think. It had a lot of cool fight scenes, and the prison escape was exciting. However, there was one moment that I found a bit too corny, and that's when the main villain survives 3 or 4 gunshot wounds and being hit by an explosion until they finally kill him. I just love the idea of it goes, "All right, I like the movie, but that was maybe a little too far."
That was a bridge too far.
Yeah, I'm going to take off a star for that. But beyond that, this is an awesome action film. Extremely low budget, but I enjoyed it very, very much. Sure, it has a lot of flaws, but it's tons of fun, and I feel it's a great film. The direction is very good. B.J. Davis does a very good job here with stylish action scenes, some cool shots, doing awesome with the low budget he had, and kept the film at a very fast pace. I do agree it does move at a fast pace, but at the expense of plot. So there is there is some blood. We get quite a few bloody gunshot wounds. By the way, this guy has not seen bloody gunshot wounds. Knife in the chest, slit throat, severed heads, and a gory impaling. I think the severed heads might have been the thing that pushed it to R, now that I think about it.
I guess that's true. But they look so bad that you
can't take them seriously. And the impaling was the only kind of gory death. You do see blood all over the fence.
That's true.
But like I said, this movie could have been trimmed easily to a PG-13. Anyway, the acting is surprisingly very good. Brandon Lee was amazing, as he always was. He's extremely likable, excellent in the acting department, hilarious, had great chemistry with Debbie A. Monahan. Kicked that ass, by the way, kicked that ass, and was tons of fun to watch. He also had some great one-liners. Brandon ruled. Debbie A. Monahan is gorgeous, all caps, and does very well here. A little annoying at first, but she quickly grew on me and became very likable. I also enjoyed the chemistry between her and Lee. Great job. Where is she now? Question mark. I love the stream of consciousness of that. Anyway, she's gorgeous and great. Hey, where is she, by the way? Ernest Borgnine is good as the professor and added class to this. They were hoping for that, but I love Ernest Borgnine, and yikes, no.
He brought nothing.
No, because he does nothing. It's not his fault necessarily. He's in like 2 scenes. Graham Clark is excellent as the main villain and was very menacing. Never once found him menacing. He was an interesting character. Pierre Constant and Maureen LaHoud are okay as the comic relief. Overall, don't believe the 2.5 rating it got on here. I say it's a must-see. 9 out of 10 stars. He did take off 1 star for that cheesy thing.
I think
with the
the cheesy end.
It lost 1 star for that, but beyond that, 9 out of 10 stars. That man.
They should have lost 1 star per death of Kalashnikov. I think
for sure, man. Where did I have my? We got to check in with our old friend Bruce, right?
Yeah.
Hold on here.
How's Bruce doing?
Hold on. Wait, I think I have it here. But yeah, because we got to check in with Bruce. Now, Bruce didn't see this movie because this is harder to find, right? Okay, here we go.
It's not on Amazon Prime.
But
so
similar, as we talked about, this is kind of a Bond knockoff. So what say we look at Bruce's review of the Bond movie that came out this same year? Because there was a Bond movie in 89.
Yeah.
So it's time once again for The Winning Opinion. Okay, so this is Bruce's review of 1989's License to Kill, starring Timothy Dalton. That was the Bond movie of this year.
This is the first or second
This
Dalton?
is the second Dalton. This is the one where he fights...
So the first one was License to Kill.
The first one was Living Daylights. This is the second one, License to Kill.
Oh, that's right, yes.
Yeah, this is License to Kill. This is the one where he is seeking revenge against the South American drug cartels for attacking Felix Leiter. If anyone remembers that plot. I like this one. As people talk about it, it's sort of James Bond versus Scarface. All right, here's Bruce's review. It's titled, 007 is lots of action and violence and romance. I just accidentally watched this for a second time. I don't know why I didn't review it back then. Well, my reviews are much better now anyway. I thought I did a good search, but I noticed that I watched this on Amazon 2 years ago. Well, I should watch it again in about 5 years. Ha! I probably watched it with my mother 2 decades ago. We like to watch this type of TV. Bring on the 007! Exclamation point. 5 out of 5 stars. Kind of a different winning review.
We've learned so much about Bruce in just this one review.
We are ever filling in the biography of this guy.
Yeah. Okay.
So he and his mom.
I do like that he's self-aware of the
Yeah.
He didn't mention any surround sound or resolution.
No.
Which is
But and the title is where he got lots of action and violence and romance. But he didn't go into I like the shooting and stuff like this.
Yeah,
but he did.
That's true.
Bring on the 007 though.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it did make sense. Bruce would have to be a James Bond fan because it would deliver everything he likes.
Those are all the things he likes.
Yeah.
Does Bruce like there to be sex scenes in movies?
This is the first he's mentioned of like romance in a movie, right? He's never really he isn't like a lot of the guys on IMDb who talk about how beautiful the women are and stuff like that. That doesn't seem to be a draw to him. But it seems like maybe with this review it's more like he's okay with that. He certainly is not going to have a problem with that. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to find out more.
Something to be discovered. Yeah.
Every week we learn more about Bruce winning. Well, listen, this did not kick off a Michael Gold franchise, but let's say you and I come up with what Michael Gold's next adventure might have been.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So here we go. This is we're gonna fire up our handy dandy action movie title generator. and come up with what Michael Gold will be up to next. So this is Michael Gold in a new adventure called Enemy of the Lost Ones.
Ooh.
Enemy of the Lost Ones. So immediately I'm thinking this is more like a little bit more Indiana Jonesy with like a hidden tribe or city or something like that.
Yeah, this movie had the one we just saw had some vaguely Indiana vibes. So yeah, we can lean a little bit to that, a little less James. This one, yeah, I'm thinking a lost tribe sort. Maybe he is. He's still a mercenary. We know this. Is he competing with somebody else to find the lost tribe?
Oh yeah,
Perhaps?
like a Belloc in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah,
No, I think
exactly.
perhaps an enemy agent dispatched by. Well, let's see. We'll be a little bit out of the Soviet era, so. It's in the 90s, so for some reason it'll be an IRA terrorist for no reason. And he might just.
We already know who's going to be playing.
I think he might just be played by one Eric Roberts.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the first time we've suggested Eric Roberts play an but it will not be the last.
Yeah. Yes, I think Eric Roberts will be playing a dispatch to an IRA. Now this tribe and hidden city have something, right? Much like the diamond in this.
Yeah.
What is the thing they possess?
Exactly.
Some kind of idol, some kind of thing that will give. I love the idea of this is an IRA group that has moved past Irish independence to world domination.
Yeah.
It's no longer just about a free Ireland. It's about Ireland should rule the world.
Well, they don't want to free. They don't. It's not just about freeing Ireland. It's about destroying the British Empire.
Yes.
Wiping
And
England
subsequently
off the face of the map.
There you go. And so it's
Yeah.
we're finally going to get back the vengeance of what they've taken from us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what it should be necessarily that they're discovering. Maybe like some sort of new.
Like a new element or something,
That's
something
what I'm
that's
thinking.
something that's in their soil or whatever that can be extracted and turned into some kind of super weapon.
I think somebody in the movie is going to refer to this element making plutonium look like child's play. Or
That's
something
good.
Like that.
Aye, when we're done with
Yeah.
it, this'll make plutonium look like child's play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
And of course, Brandon
Yeah.
Lee will have to infiltrate with it. Oh, that's the thing. Because he's a master of disguises, they send him in to infiltrate as if he's one of the members of this tribe.
There we go. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The Irish have come to conquer this tribe, and he's already instilled it. Much like You Only Live Twice, where Bond pretends to be a Japanese man.
Right. Just so crazy.
So we'll have Brandon Lee pretending to be some sort of like, Caribbean or island,
something.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe South
Yeah.
Pacific or something.
Because it can't be an Asian country because he is Asian. We have to be doing an offensive caricature of a nationality.
Exactly. Exactly.
He can't
Yeah.
actually
This
be a
is gonna
Chinese guy or
very
something
offensive.
like that. Oh God,
Yeah. No,
absolutely. He has.
Yeah.
He has to. This movie, if this movie doesn't offend people, what are we even doing here?
He's gonna have a Fu Manchu mustache.
Yes, he's gonna have a Fu Manchu mustache.
It'll be ridiculous.
And he'll be doing like a yaman, like a Caribbean kind of accent. And he will meet and fall in love with, of course, one of because the woman is all the other characters are gone, right, from the first movie.
Yes, of course.
That's
Of course.
the laser mission has been dealt
Only
with.
Brandon Lee.
It's
Yeah.
only much in the Bond
exactly.
vein, and so that will lead to Eric Roberts is the enemy of the Lost Ones, and Brandon Lee is here to save them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like this. This could work.
It could be good.
Michael Gold
fun.
is back.
Yeah.
Man, this sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Well, Listman, we're staying in the 80s next week, which is
that's fine.
It's a time we like, and this will be a first for us. This is a new action star that we haven't seen yet here on the action shelf, and that is one, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gary Busey. It's Busey time.
Oh.
How you doing?
I'm
It's me, Gary Busey.
surprised we haven't done Busey.
We haven't done
That's
Busey.
honestly shocking.
Oh, come on now. Come on.
We've had Busey
I
be
think
in
we-
some of the commentary tracks. 'cause
Yeah, I'm
we
trying
watched,
to think. We did. We watched. We've done Under Siege.
Yeah, he's in that. Was he in Hard Target? I'm trying to.
No. Oh, he's in Lethal Weapon though. We did Lethal Weapon.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think.
Okay.
Have we seen him? I don't even think we've seen him in a supporting role in a proper action shelf movie, have we?
I don't think so.
No, yeah.
I don't believe so.
Well, he's got a lot of starring vehicles, and we will be seeing next week. This is one of my favorites. This is a Gary Busey is Bulletproof.
Okay. We'll see if he's actually bulletproof.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Gonna be
That's
out
right.
there with my big old teeth.
Can't kill me. Can't kill me. These teeth will block all the bullets coming.
So I have listen, I have 3 separate taglines for this movie. Would you like to hear them?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Is this the most amount of taglines we've had for?
I think it might be. Let's go. Here we go.
Okay.
An unstoppable force is about to meet an immovable object. It's time to send in Frank Bulletproof McBain. He's America's most powerful weapon. Gary Busey is bulletproof.
I was really hoping his last name was Bulletproof.
No, but McBain, his name is Frank McBain, which is pretty great. Frank Bulletproof McBain.
Pretty good.
That's
Yeah,
right, folks.
okay.
Yeah, Gary Busey is bulletproof, and if I'm gonna let the plot of this movie be a surprise, because what the actual premise of this movie is really silly, and I will say we are firmly in Cold War politics. So,
Excellent.
Only Gary Busey can save the U.S.
I will not look it up.
Please don't, because I really,
just let it be a surprise.
I just we'll talk about what it is. It's very I am so excited. I've never seen this movie. It is for free on YouTube, so people can watch it there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've never seen this movie. I've heard of it, and I've always wanted to see it because it sounds insane. And I think Gary Busey is a good actor, but this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, that'll be next week on the show, but that's gonna do it for this week's episode of The Action Shelf. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Michael Listman.
Until next week, get yourself some action.
The Action Show. The Action Show.